Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Everwood, there was an old well at the edge of the village square. This was no ordinary well, it was known as the Wishing Well. Legend said it could grant one wish to those who truly believed and had a heart full of hope. However, the well had been silent for many years, and its magic was thought to have faded. In Everwood lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was a dreamer with a heart full of kindness. He spent his days helping his neighbors, always hoping to make their lives better. His greatest wish was to restore his village's old library, which had fallen into disrepair and was now closed. Finn believed that the library held the key to unlocking the village's potential and bringing knowledge and joy to everyone. One crisp autumn day, after reading one of the few books left in the library, Finn decided that he would try to make his wish come true. He approached the wishing well with a determined heart. As he gazed into its depths, he saw nothing but darkness. Yet, he had heard the stories from his elders and believed in the well's magic. With a deep breath, Finn took a small coin from his pocket and dropped it into the well, making his heartfelt wish. "I wish to restore the old library and bring knowledge and happiness back to Everwood," he said. The well remained silent, and Finn left feeling a mixture of hope and doubt. As days passed, Finn worked tirelessly on his own, cleaning up the library, repairing broken shelves, and gathering donations from the villagers. Despite his efforts, the library remained a long way from being restored. One night, as Finn was working late, a soft glow filled the library. He looked up to see a small, glowing figure hovering in the air. It was a friendly fairy named Leora, who had been sent by the magic of the Wishing Well. "Finn, your wish has reached the heart of the well," Leora said with a warm smile. "But to truly restore the library, you must undertake a quest. The library holds many secrets, and only by uncovering them can you bring it back to life." Leora handed Finn a small, ornate key and a map that showed 3 hidden locations around the village. Each of these places holds a piece of the library's magic. Find them, and you will unlock the power needed to restore the library. Finn accepted the key and the map, and the next day began his quest. The first location on the map was the old oak tree at the edge of the village. Finn discovered a hidden compartment in the tree's trunk, containing a dusty, old book. As he opened the book, it glowed with a warm light, and the pages revealed the history of the library and its significance to Everwood. The second location was a small, forgotten garden behind the village church. In the center of the garden was a weathered stone pedestal. On the pedestal was a delicate, silver charm shaped like an open book. Finn took the charm and felt a surge of inspiration and hope. The final location led Finn to the village's ancient well, which was now a serene pond covered with lily pads. Underneath the water, Finn found a beautiful, golden locket. Inside the locket was a tiny, intricate model of the library. Finn realized that the locket symbolized the heart of the library and its connection to the villagers. With all 3 pieces in hand, Finn returned to the library. As he placed the book, charm, and locket in the center of the main reading room, a brilliant light enveloped the library. The old shelves and walls were magically restored, and the library's once dusty books began to glow with new life. The villagers gathered in awe as the library was transformed into a vibrant, welcoming place filled with knowledge and magic. They celebrated Finn's success and thanked him for his dedication and hard work. From that day on, the library became the heart of Everwood, where villagers came to learn, share stories, and dream of new possibilities. Finn's wish had come true, and the village flourished with renewed energy and joy. The Wishing Well, though silent once more, had fulfilled its promise through Finn's unwavering belief and determination. And so, the tale of the Wishing Well and the boy who restored the library became a cherished story in Everwood, inspiring generations to believe in the magic of their own hearts and the power of dreams. The end. Once upon a time, in a land of lush meadows and ancient forests, there was a tranquil village named Greenleaf. Nestled at the edge of the village was a mystical lake known as Silver Lake. Its waters sparkled like liquid starlight, and the villagers believed it was guarded by a benevolent spirit who kept the land fertile and the village prosperous. The guardian of Silver Lake was said to be a graceful and elusive being named Lyra, a nymph of the waters who appeared only when the village faced a great challenge. The lake was not only a source of beauty but also of sustenance, as its waters were rumored to grant blessings to those who respected and cherished them. One year, a dreadful drought struck Greenleaf. The once lush fields turned barren, and the villagers were desperate to save their crops and their livelihood. The villagers spoke of the legend of Lyra, and they knew they needed her help to restore the balance. But Lyra had not been seen for many years, and no one knew how to summon her. Among the villagers was a young boy named Finn, known for his curiosity and bravery. Finn loved the stories of Lyra and felt a deep connection to Silver Lake. Determined to save his village, Finn decided to embark on a journey to find Lyra and seek her help. He set off early one morning, carrying a small backpack filled with provisions and a heart full of hope. Following the map he had drawn from old tales, Finn made his way to Silver Lake. As he approached, he noticed the lake's once sparkling waters had dimmed, reflecting the parched land around it. Standing at the edge of the lake, Finn called out, "Lyra, guardian of Silver Lake, I beseech you. Our village is in dire need of your help. Please, show yourself and restore the magic of the lake." As Finn's voice echoed across the still waters, a soft breeze began to stir, and the lake's surface shimmered. From the center of the lake, a mist began to rise, and Lyra appeared, her form ethereal and shimmering like moonlight on water. "Brave Finn," Lyra said in a voice like a gentle ripple, "why have you called me?" Finn explained the plight of his village, describing the drought and the suffering of the people. He spoke with sincerity and hope, asking Lyra to use her magic to bring rain and restore the land. Lyra listened intently and then said, "To restore the balance, you must first complete 3 tasks that will test your courage, wisdom, and kindness. Only then will the magic of Silver Lake be fully restored." Finn nodded, ready to undertake the tasks. Lyra guided him to the first challenge, a dense forest where a powerful storm had uprooted trees and caused chaos. His task was to help restore the forest. Finn worked tirelessly, clearing debris and helping animals find shelter. He showed great perseverance and compassion, earning the respect of the forest creatures. For the second task, Lyra led Finn to a mountain cave where a group of lost fireflies had been trapped. The fireflies' light was needed to rekindle the magic of the lake. Finn carefully navigated the dark cave, gently guiding the fireflies back to their home. His kindness and patience helped the fireflies safely return to their glowing haven. The final task was to climb the highest peak in the land and recover a rare flower known as the moon blossom, which only bloomed under the light of a full moon. The journey was arduous, but Finn's determination never wavered. When he finally reached the peak, he found the flower in full bloom, its petals glowing softly in the moonlight. Finn carefully picked the flower and made his way back to Silver Lake. With all the tasks complete, Finn returned to the lake with the moon blossom in hand. Lyra accepted the flower and thanked Finn for his efforts. "You have shown great courage, wisdom, and kindness," Lyra said. "The magic of Silver Lake shall now be restored." As Lyra placed the moon blossom into the lake's waters, a brilliant light spread across the surface. Rain began to fall gently over Greenleaf, and the land started to green once more. The villagers rejoiced as their crops flourished and their spirits were lifted. Lyra smiled at Finn. "Your bravery has saved your village, and the magic of Silver Lake will continue to protect and nourish Greenleaf." With that, Lyra disappeared into the mist, her task complete. Finn returned to his village as a hero, and the story of his adventure was celebrated for generations. The villagers continued to honor Silver Lake and its guardian, knowing that true magic lies in the courage and selflessness of those who are willing to make a difference. And so, Greenleaf thrived once more under the care of Silver Lake, with Finn's tale serving as a timeless reminder of the power of kindness and the magic that can be found in even the most challenging of quests. Once upon a time, in a land where the mountains kissed the sky and forests whispered ancient secrets, there was a serene village called Rivamist. This village was nestled by a magnificent lake known as Sapphire Lake. The lake was renowned for its crystal-clear waters that sparkled like sapphires in the sunlight, and it was said that a magical treasure lay hidden at the bottom, waiting to be discovered by a brave soul. For generations, the villagers had told tales of the treasure that could bring great prosperity to Rivermist. However, the lake was surrounded by dense fog and enchanted by ancient magic, making it impossible for anyone to find the treasure. Despite the stories, no one had ever ventured into the lake's depths. In Rivermist lived a small, sturdy boat named Beryl. Beryl was no ordinary boat. She had a gentle heart and a brave spirit. She had always dreamed of exploring the mysteries of Sapphire Lake and discovering the magical treasure for herself. The villagers had always used Beryl for their daily needs, but she yearned for adventure. One day, a terrible drought struck Rivermist. The once lush lands around Sapphire Lake began to wither, and the villagers' crops failed. Desperation grew, and the village elder announced that only a great treasure from the lake could save their beloved home. The villagers gathered by the lake, wondering how they could possibly reach the hidden treasure. Beryl, sensing the villagers' despair, knew this was her chance to fulfill her dream and help her village. She approached the elder with determination. "I will venture into the lake and find the treasure," Beryl declared. The villagers were astonished, but the elder nodded in approval. "You have a brave heart, Beryl. The journey will be perilous, but you must follow the guidance of the ancient map kept in the village's library. It is said to hold clues to the treasure's location." Beryl set off early the next morning, guided by the ancient map she found in the library. The map was old and faded, showing a series of symbols and paths leading through the lake. As Beryl sailed into the fog-covered waters, the magic of the lake stirred, creating gentle ripples that danced around her. The fog grew thicker, and soon Beryl found herself in a labyrinth of mist. The boat followed the map's directions carefully, navigating through the maze of fog. Along the way, Beryl encountered several magical creatures: a chatty water sprite named Nixie, a wise old turtle named Atlas, and a playful school of fish that glowed like lanterns. Nixie guided Beryl through the foggy maze, providing clues about the treasure's location. Atlas shared ancient knowledge about the lake's history, and the glowing fish illuminated the dark paths, helping Beryl stay on course. As Beryl ventured deeper into the lake, she reached an underwater cavern that was hidden from view. The entrance was guarded by a large, shimmering sea serpent named Seraphis. Seraphis was known for his wisdom and his protective nature over the lake's secrets. "Who dares enter my domain?" Seraphis rumbled, his eyes gleaming like emeralds. "It is I, Beryl," the boat replied with courage. "I seek the treasure to save my village from the drought." Seraphis regarded Beryl thoughtfully. "To prove your worth, you must answer a riddle. If you answer correctly, I shall grant you passage to the treasure." Beryl listened intently as Seraphis spoke. "I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Beryl thought for a moment. She remembered the whispers of the wind and the gentle songs it carried. "An echo," she answered confidently. Seraphis smiled and nodded. "You have answered wisely. You may pass." The sea serpent parted the waters, revealing a hidden chamber adorned with glowing crystals. At the center of the chamber was a chest made of shimmering seashells and coral. Beryl approached the chest and carefully opened it, revealing a radiant, golden amulet encrusted with precious gems. As Beryl took the amulet, the chamber began to light up with a brilliant glow. The magic of the amulet spread through the lake, and the fog began to clear. Beryl made her way back to Rivermist, carrying the amulet with her. Upon her return, the villagers gathered around with awe and anticipation. Beryl placed the amulet at the center of the village square, and its magic spread across the land. The drought ended, and the land around Sapphire Lake was rejuvenated with lush greenery and blooming flowers. The villagers celebrated Beryl's bravery with a grand feast, and the little boat became a beloved hero in Rivermist. The magic of the amulet brought prosperity and joy to the village, and Sapphire Lake sparkled with renewed brilliance. Beryl's adventure became a cherished story, reminding everyone that even the smallest and seemingly ordinary beings can achieve great things with courage and determination. Rivermist thrived, and the legend of the brave little boat who saved the village became a timeless tale told for generations to come. And so, Rivermist lived happily ever after, forever grateful for the magic and bravery that saved their home. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom known as Eldoria, there was a small village called Bramblewood. This village was nestled by the edge of a vast, enchanted forest and bordered a serene, shimmering lake known as Silver Lake. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, fishing in the lake and gathering herbs from the forest. However, one fateful year, a terrible drought struck Eldoria, drying up Silver Lake and withering the crops. The village fell into despair, unsure of how they would survive. In this village lived a young girl named Arya, who was known for her love of adventure and her compassionate heart. Arya couldn't bear to see her friends and family suffer, and she decided to seek out a solution. She remembered her grandmother's stories about the phoenix feather, a magical feather from a legendary phoenix that had the power to bring rain and restore life to the land. Determined to find the phoenix feather, Arya set off on a journey into the enchanted forest. She knew it would be a perilous quest, filled with unknown dangers, but her resolve was unwavering. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and the light dimmer. Strange, magical creatures watched her from the shadows, but Arya pressed on. After several days of traveling, Arya came upon an old, twisted tree with a door carved into its trunk. Curious, she knocked, and the door creaked open to reveal a small, cozy room. Inside sat an elderly woman with kind eyes and a warm smile. "Welcome, dear child," the woman said. "I am Elowen, the guardian of the forest. What brings you to my humble abode?" Arya explained her quest for the phoenix feather, and Elowen listened intently. "The phoenix resides in the crystal caves, deep within the heart of the forest," Elowen said. "But the path is fraught with challenges. You must prove your worth and your intentions." Elowen gave Arya a small, silver lantern and a map. "This lantern will guide you through the darkness, and the map will show you the way. But remember, only a pure heart can summon the phoenix." With gratitude, Arya thanked Elowen and continued her journey. The forest grew denser, and the air became thick with enchantment. Following the map, she navigated through treacherous terrain and crossed enchanted rivers. Along the way, she encountered a mischievous sprite named Nixie, who tried to lead her astray. But Arya's kindness and determination won Nixie over, and he decided to help her instead. Together, they reached the entrance of the crystal caves. The cave sparkled with a myriad of colors, and the air was filled with an otherworldly hum. As they ventured deeper, they came to a vast chamber where the legendary phoenix rested on a pedestal of crystal. The phoenix was a magnificent bird with feathers of vibrant red and gold, and eyes that shone like the sun. As Arya approached, the phoenix regarded her with curiosity and wisdom. "Why do you seek my feather, young one?" the phoenix asked, its voice resonating like a melodious song. Arya explained the plight of her village and the drought that had stricken their land. She spoke of her love for her home and her desire to save her people. The phoenix listened, its gaze never leaving her face. "You have shown great courage and compassion," the phoenix said. "I will grant you my feather, but remember, its power must be used with a pure heart and good intentions." With that, the phoenix plucked a single feather from its radiant plumage and handed it to Arya. The feather glowed with a magical light, and Arya felt a warmth spread through her as she held it. Thanking the phoenix, Arya and Nixie made their way back to Bramblewood. When they arrived, the villagers were overjoyed to see Arya safe and sound. She went to the center of the village, holding the phoenix feather high. With a heart full of hope and love, she spoke the words of the ancient incantation Elowen had taught her. The feather shimmered and burst into flames, but instead of burning, the flames turned into clouds. These clouds rose into the sky, darkening and swelling until they covered the entire village. Moments later, rain began to fall, gentle at first, then stronger, until Silver Lake was filled once more, and the fields were drenched and revived. The villagers danced and celebrated in the rain, their spirits lifted and their hope restored. Arya's bravery and selflessness had saved them, and they hailed her as a hero. The phoenix feather's magic had not only brought back the rain but also taught the villagers the power of hope, courage, and the strength found in unity. Aria's legend spread far and wide, inspiring others to act with bravery and kindness. Silver Lake sparkled once more, and Bramblewood flourished, becoming a beacon of hope in Eldoria. And so, the village thrived, its people living in harmony with nature, always remembering the young girl who brought the rain and saved them all. The end. Once upon a time, in a tranquil village named Eldergrove, there was a well known for its mystical whispers. The well, tucked away in the heart of an ancient forest, was said to hold the wisdom of the ages. It whispered secrets to those who approached it with a pure heart and a kind spirit. The villagers believed that listening to the whispers could guide them through their greatest challenges. The village was home to a kind-hearted young woman named Iris. Iris loved her village deeply and was known for her generous spirit. Despite her humble means, she always found ways to help those in need, whether it was nursing sick animals back to health or aiding her neighbors with their daily tasks. One spring, a severe drought struck Eldergrove. The once vibrant fields became parched, and the riverbeds ran dry. The villagers were troubled, for their crops were failing, and their wells were running low. The only hope was the Whispering Well, which had not been visited in many years. The village elder, Old Merle, suggested that Iris seek the well's guidance. With a heavy heart, Iris agreed. She ventured into the forest, following the winding path to the Whispering Well. As she walked, the forest seemed unusually silent, and the air grew cooler. Eventually, she reached the well, its stones covered in moss and its rim lined with wildflowers. Iris approached the well and leaned over, peering into its depths. "Great Whispering Well," she called softly, "our village is suffering from a terrible drought. We need your wisdom to save our crops and our home." For a moment, there was silence. Then, a gentle, soothing voice emerged from the well. "To save your village, you must find the hidden spring that feeds this well. It lies beneath the ancient oak tree in the heart of the forest. The path will be revealed to you if your heart is true." Iris thanked the well and set off towards the ancient oak tree. The journey was arduous, as the forest seemed to shift and change with every step she took. After hours of walking, she finally reached the grand oak, its branches spreading wide like welcoming arms. At the base of the oak, Iris noticed a large, smooth stone covered in intricate carvings. She touched the stone, and it began to glow with a soft, golden light. The carvings shifted, revealing a hidden passage beneath the oak's roots. Iris descended into the passage, which led to a subterranean cavern. In the center of the cavern was a small spring, its water shimmering with a magical light. She knew this must be the spring that fed the Whispering Well. As Iris knelt by the spring, she saw that it was choked with debris and overgrown roots. With gentle hands and a kind heart, she began to clear the debris, her movements careful and deliberate. As she worked, she spoke softly to the spring, promising to care for it and protect it as she would her own home. As the last of the debris was removed, the spring began to flow more freely, its waters sparkling with renewed energy. Iris watched in awe as the water swirled and surged, filling the cavern with a soft, melodic sound. With the spring revitalized, Iris made her way back to Eldergrove. She arrived just in time to see the first drops of rain fall from the sky, followed by a steady downpour. The rain nourished the parched fields and filled the riverbeds, bringing life back to the village. The villagers celebrated with joy and gratitude. They honored Iris for her bravery and selflessness, recognizing that her pure heart and determination had saved their home. The Whispering Well, now revitalized by the spring's renewed flow, continued to offer its wisdom to those who sought it. Iris became a beloved figure in Eldergrove, and her story was told for generations as a reminder of the power of kindness and the importance of listening to the whispers of one's heart. And so, Eldergrove flourished once more, its fields green and fertile, its people content and hopeful. The village thrived under the watchful gaze of the Whispering Well and the gentle guidance of a young woman who had listened and acted with love. Once upon a time, in the charming town of Everbrook, there was a beautiful old carousel in the center of the town square. The carousel was a marvel of craftsmanship, adorned with intricately painted horses and golden trim that sparkled in the sunlight. However, there was something truly magical about this carousel. It only operated at midnight, under the light of the full moon. Legend had it that the carousel was enchanted by a benevolent fairy long ago. The fairy had gifted it with the ability to transport those who rode it to a wondrous realm where dreams came alive. But, as time passed, the magic of the carousel faded from memory, and people thought it was just a beautiful but ordinary attraction. One evening, a curious girl named Alara, who had just moved to Everbrook, noticed the carousel's unusual charm. She had heard the stories from the townsfolk but was skeptical. Determined to discover the truth, Alara decided to stay up and see what happened when the clock struck midnight. As the full moon began its ascent into the night sky, Alara hid behind a nearby statue, waiting with bated breath. At the stroke of midnight, a soft, melodic chime filled the air, and the carousel's golden lights flickered to life. To her astonishment, the horses began to move, their eyes gleaming with a mystical light. Alara hesitated for a moment, then stepped forward and mounted one of the carousel horses. As soon as she did, the world around her began to spin, and she felt a gentle, tingling sensation envelop her. The carousel moved faster and faster, and in the blink of an eye, Alara found herself in a breathtaking new world. She was in a land of wonder, where the skies were painted in shades of pink and gold, and trees bore fruit that glowed with a soft, inner light. The ground was covered in shimmering, silver grass that sparkled with every step. Alara's heart raced with excitement as she dismounted and began to explore this magical realm. As she wandered, she encountered whimsical creatures, talking animals, playful sprites, and even a gentle dragon who offered to show her around. The dragon, named Ember, had scales that glistened like stardust and eyes that twinkled with kindness. Ember led Alara to a grand, crystal-clear lake that reflected the moonlight like a mirror. At the center of the lake was a small island with a magnificent tree that had golden leaves and branches adorned with sparkling fruit. The tree was known as the Wish Tree, and it was said that any wish made under its branches would come true. Alara approached the Wish Tree and closed her eyes, thinking deeply about her one true wish. She wished for her family to find happiness and for the new town of Everbrook to become a place of joy and wonder for everyone. As she opened her eyes, the Wish Tree's golden leaves shimmered, and a soft, melodious voice spoke. "Your wish is selfless and kind, and it shall be granted." Suddenly, the world began to spin again, and Alara found herself back on the carousel in Everbrook. The moon was still high in the sky, and the carousel slowly came to a stop. Alara dismounted, her heart filled with a sense of fulfillment and joy. The next morning, Everbrook woke to find that the town square had transformed. The carousel was now more enchanting than ever, with new, dazzling colors and even more beautiful decorations. The townsfolk gathered, marveling at the transformation. They felt an unexplainable sense of happiness and unity, as if a magical aura had been cast over the town. Alara's family, who had been worried about their new life in Everbrook, found themselves uplifted by the town's newfound spirit. The once quaint town now thrived with a sense of community and wonder, drawing visitors from near and far who came to experience the magic for themselves. The carousel continued to spin its magical tales every night, and Alara became known as the girl who brought enchantment back to Everbrook. She had not only discovered the truth behind the carousel's magic but had also fulfilled a wish that made a world of difference. And so, the town of Everbrook flourished under the glow of the moon and the magic of the carousel. Forever a place where dreams and reality danced together in harmony. Once upon a time, in a peaceful valley surrounded by rolling hills and lush meadows, there stood a grand, ancient willow tree. This tree was known as the Whispering Willow, and it was said to hold the secrets of the past and the hopes for the future. The villagers believed that the willow could speak to those who truly listened with their hearts. In this valley lived a young girl named Arya. Arya was known for her kindness and her love for the stories of old. She often visited the Whispering Willow, sitting beneath its broad branches and listening to its rustling leaves. Though she couldn't always understand the whispers, she felt a deep connection to the tree. One day, as Arya sat by the willow, she heard a faint, sorrowful whisper carried on the breeze. It seemed to be calling for help. She listened closely and made out the words, "Help us find the lost star." Determined to uncover the source of the whisper, Arya decided to seek out the lost star. According to village legend, the lost star was a magical star that had fallen from the sky long ago, and its light was believed to bring balance and harmony to the land. Arya set off on her quest, guided by the whispers of the willow. She ventured through the valley, over hills, and into a dense forest where the trees were tall and the air was filled with the scent of pine. The forest was dark and mysterious, but Arya's heart was brave. As she wandered deeper into the forest, Arya came across a sparkling stream. She followed the stream and soon discovered a hidden grotto with walls that glistened like gemstones. In the center of the grotto lay a small, golden chest covered in intricate patterns. Arya carefully opened the chest and found an ancient map and a shimmering star-shaped locket. The map depicted a series of landmarks, a crystal waterfall, a moonlit glade, and a secret cave. Arya realized that these were the places she needed to visit to find the lost star. She tucked the locket and the map into her satchel and continued her journey. First, she reached the crystal waterfall. The water cascaded down in a dazzling display of colors. And at the base of the waterfall, Arya found a hidden alcove with a glowing crystal. The crystal seemed to resonate with the locket she carried, and it pointed her towards the next landmark. Arya followed the directions to the moonlit glade. The glade was bathed in a soft, silvery light, and fireflies danced in the air. In the center of the glade stood a grand oak tree with a hollow trunk. Inside the hollow, Arya found a beautiful, silver box that contained a soft, shimmering light. The box seemed to pulse with a gentle warmth, guiding her to the final destination. The last landmark was the secret cave. As Arya entered the cave, she was greeted by a mesmerizing sight, walls of luminescent crystals that reflected the soft light of the locket. In the heart of the cave, Arya found a large, radiant star resting on a pedestal. It was the lost star she had been searching for. Arya carefully placed the star into the locket, and the locket's light grew brighter. She felt a sense of accomplishment and joy as the cave illuminated with a warm, golden glow. The star's light seemed to spread throughout the land, bringing a sense of peace and harmony. With the star restored to its rightful place, Arya returned to the Whispering Willow. The tree's branches swayed gently, and the whispers of gratitude filled the air. Arya felt a deep sense of fulfillment as she listened to the willow's soft murmurs. The villagers soon noticed the changes in the valley. The land seemed to sparkle with renewed beauty, and a sense of calm and happiness spread through the community. They celebrated Arya's bravery and her role in restoring the lost star's light. From that day on, the Whispering Willow continued to share its wisdom and guidance, and Arya often visited the tree, listening to its whispers and enjoying the peace it brought to the valley. The star's light remained a symbol of hope and harmony, reminding everyone of the magic that existed in their world. And so, the valley thrived under the gentle glow of the restored star, and Arya's bravery became a cherished story for generations to come. The end. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a beautiful forest called the Enchanted Forest. The forest was filled with tall, ancient trees, sparkling streams, and colorful flowers. It was a place of magic, where animals could talk, and fairies lived among the trees. In this forest lived a little squirrel named Sammy. Sammy was small but very brave. He loved to explore the forest, climb the tallest trees, and find the best acorns. Sammy had many friends, including Benny the bunny, Tina the turtle, and Luna the fairy. One sunny day, as Sammy was gathering acorns, he heard a soft cry coming from the bushes. He quickly scampered over and found a tiny bird named Chirpy, who had hurt its wing and couldn't fly. "Oh no, Chirpy." "What happened?" asked Sammy. "I was trying to fly high and see the whole forest, but I hurt my wing," Chirpy replied sadly. "Don't worry, Chirpy. I'll take you to Luna. She knows how to heal wings," said Sammy. Sammy gently picked up Chirpy and hurried to Luna's home, which was a beautiful flower house hidden in a big oak tree. Luna was a kind fairy with sparkling wings and a warm smile. "Luna, can you help Chirpy?" "He hurt his wing," Sammy asked. Luna looked at Chirpy Swing and smiled. Of course, I can help. But we need a special healing flower that grows in the deepest part of the forest. Sammy's eyes widened. The deepest part of the forest was known to be mysterious and a little scary, but Sammy was determined to help his friend. I'll go get the flower, said Sammy bravely. Luna gave Sammy a little map and a tiny pouch of fairy dust for protection. Sammy set off on his adventure, feeling a mix of excitement and a bit of fear. As Sammy ventured deeper into the forest, he saw many amazing sights. He crossed a sparkling blue stream, where he met a friendly frog who showed him the way. He walked through a meadow of colorful flowers, where butterflies danced around him. Finally, Sammy reached the deepest part of the forest. The trees were tall and dark, and it was very quiet. Sammy took a deep breath and followed the map. He soon found the special healing flower, glowing softly in the shade of a big tree. Just as Sammy picked the flower, a loud growl echoed through the forest. A big, shadowy figure emerged from the trees. It was a giant bear, looking very grumpy. "Who dares to take my flower?" the bear growled. Sammy was scared but stood tall. "I'm Sammy, and I need this flower to help my friend Chirpy." The bear looked at Sammy for a moment and then sighed. "I see. I used to be a kind bear, but I became grumpy because I was lonely. No one ever visited me here." Sammy felt sorry for the bear. "I'm sorry you're lonely. Maybe you can come back with me and meet my friends. We would love to have you." The bear's eyes softened. "You would do that for me?" "Of course," said Sammy. "Everyone deserves friends." The bear smiled and agreed to come with Sammy. Together, they walked back to Luna's house. Luna healed Chirpy Swing with the special flower, and Chirpy was soon flying happily again. Sammy introduced the bear to all his friends, and they welcomed him warmly. The bear, whose name was Bruno, became a beloved member of the forest community. He was no longer lonely and grumpy but happy and kind. From that day on, Sammy, Chirpy, Luna, and all their friends, including Bruno, lived happily in the enchanted forest. They went on many adventures together and always helped each other, knowing that true friendship was the greatest magic of all. And so, the enchanted forest remained a place of wonder and joy, where everyone, big or small, was welcome. The end. Once upon a time, in the tranquil kingdom of Solara, there was a magical valley known as the Meadow of Dreams. This valley was famed for its breathtaking beauty in the presence of the dream flower, a rare blossom that could bring one's dreams to life. The dream flower only bloomed once every 100 years, under the light of a special blue moon. In a small village at the edge of the valley lived a kind-hearted boy named Eric. Eric had always been fascinated by the stories of the dream flower and dreamed of seeing it bloom. His closest friend was a gentle fawn named Faye, who had an innate sense of wonder and a love for adventure. One evening, as the blue moon began to rise, Eric and Faye decided to venture into the Meadow of Dreams to witness the rare bloom. They walked through fields of twinkling fireflies and past sparkling streams, guided by the light of the moon. When they reached the Meadow of Dreams, they were greeted by a breathtaking sight. The meadow was bathed in the soft, ethereal glow of the blue moon, and the dream flower stood in the center, shrouded in a gentle mist. But as they approached, they noticed that the dream flower was surrounded by a series of magical barriers, each one shimmering with a different color. A soft voice, as gentle as a breeze, spoke from the dream flower. "To reach the dream flower and see its bloom, you must complete 3 tasks. Only those with pure hearts and true intentions will succeed." Eric and Faye nodded and prepared for the first task, the trial of harmony. They needed to calm the swirling colors of the barriers, which were in constant motion and created a dissonant melody. Eric and Faye observed the barriers and realized that they needed to harmonize their movements to create a soothing melody. Faye used her graceful movements to guide the colors into a synchronized dance, while Eric played a tune on a small flute he carried. As their melody filled the air, the barriers began to harmonize and form a gentle, calming glow, allowing them to pass through to the next task. The second task was the trial of courage. They arrived at a misty grove where a series of floating platforms led to a glowing orb suspended in midair. The platforms were high above a swirling fog, and Eric needed to retrieve the orb. Faye, sensing Eric's hesitation, encouraged him to trust his instincts. Eric took a deep breath and stepped onto the first platform. With each step, he grew more confident, guided by Faye's gentle encouragement. He reached the orb and carefully brought it back to the ground, proving his courage and determination. The final task was the trial of compassion. They found themselves in a tranquil glade where a small, injured bird lay nestled among the flowers. The bird's wing was damaged, and it looked up at them with hopeful eyes. Eric and Faye tenderly cared for the bird, using herbs and soft bandages that Faye had gathered. Eric spoke soothingly to the bird, and Faye carefully tended to its wing. As they worked together, the bird's strength returned, and it fluttered its wings with renewed vigor. With the 3 tasks completed, the barriers around the dream flower dissolved, revealing its delicate petals, which shimmered with an otherworldly light. The dream flower began to bloom, its petals unfolding in a mesmerizing display of colors that reflected the dreams and hopes of all who had ventured into the meadow. Eric and Faye watched in awe as the dream flower's magic filled the meadow with a gentle, radiant glow. The dream flower's bloom illuminated the night, and its magic touched their hearts, filling them with a sense of fulfillment and wonder. As the blue moon slowly faded, Eric and Faye made their wish. "We wish for the dreams of every person in Solara to be filled with hope and joy, so that the magic of the dream flower may inspire and uplift everyone." The dream flower's magic spread throughout the kingdom, bringing light and happiness to every corner of Solara. The villagers celebrated Eric and Faye's bravery and kindness, and the story of their adventure became a cherished legend in the kingdom. And so, the Meadow of Dreams continued to be a place of wonder and magic, where dreams and hopes blossomed under the light of the blue moon. The end. Once upon a time, in a hidden valley surrounded by towering mountains, there was a magical village named Mistwood. Mistwood was renowned for its lush greenery and sparkling streams, but what truly set it apart was the Whispering Wind, a gentle breeze that carried secrets and stories from the past. The Whispering Wind was said to be the spirit of the valley, guiding the villagers with its soft murmurings. It was believed that if one listened carefully, the wind would reveal hidden truths and offer guidance. But the wind had grown silent in recent months, leaving the villagers anxious and uncertain. In Mistwood lived a brave and curious girl named Elara. She had always been captivated by the tales told by the Whispering Wind. When the wind stopped whispering, Elara felt a deep sense of loss and knew she had to do something to restore its voice. One evening, under a sky painted with hues of twilight, Elara set out to find the source of the Whispering Wind's silence. With a small satchel of supplies and her loyal companion, a clever fox named Finn, she ventured into the enchanted forest that bordered Mistwood. The forest was alive with vibrant colors and strange sounds, but the deeper Elara and Finn went, the denser the forest became. After hours of walking, they came across a clearing with an ancient, towering oak tree. At the base of the tree was a gnarled old man, his face hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat. He was carving runes into the earth with a wooden staff. "Greetings, traveler," the old man said without looking up. "I am Oren, the keeper of the ancient whispers. What brings you to this part of the forest?" Elara introduced herself and explained the plight of the Whispering Wind. Oren listened intently and then nodded. "To restore the Whispering Wind, you must retrieve 3 lost tokens of its essence that were scattered long ago: a feather of the sky bird, a drop of the moon's tears, and a petal from the star blossom. These tokens hold the key to the wind's voice." Elara and Finn set off to find the first token, the feather of the sky bird. They climbed to the highest peak in the enchanted forest, where the sky bird was said to dwell. The bird was a magnificent creature with feathers like cascading rainbows. After a delicate negotiation, the sky bird agreed to give up one of its feathers in exchange for a promise: Elara must help its fledglings learn to fly. With the feather in hand, Elara and Finn proceeded to find the second token, a drop of the moon's tears. They reached a serene, silver lake under the light of the full moon. The moon's tears were said to fall from the sky into the lake once every 100 years. Elara waited patiently until a single drop fell into the water. She gently collected it in a vial, as the moon's reflection smiled down upon her. For the final token, the petal from the star blossom, they ventured to the heart of the forest, where a mystical garden bloomed under starlight. The star blossom was a rare flower that only bloomed under the most brilliant of stars. Elara carefully picked a single petal, ensuring that the flower remained intact and healthy. With all three tokens in her possession, Elara and Finn returned to the ancient oak tree where Orin awaited them. She presented the feather, the drop of moonlight, and the petal, and Orin began to weave them together with a spell. As Orin completed the spell, a soft, melodious whisper began to flow through the forest. The whispering wind had returned, its voice carrying stories and secrets once more. The breeze picked up, weaving through Mistwood and bringing with it a renewed sense of wonder and guidance. The villagers of Mistwood rejoiced as the whispering wind's voice returned, guiding them with its gentle murmurs. Elara's bravery and perseverance became legendary, and she was honored as the village's heroine. And so, Mistwood thrived once more under the watchful embrace of the whispering wind, and Elara's story became a cherished tale of courage and hope, reminding all who heard it that even the quietest whispers hold great power. Once upon a time, in a tranquil valley surrounded by majestic mountains, lay a charming village named Lumina. Lumina was famous for its enchanting orchard that shimmered under the night sky, known as the Starlit Orchard. Every evening, the orchard would glow with the light of thousands of twinkling starfruits hanging from the trees. These starfruits were said to bring good fortune and happiness to those who harvested them. In the heart of Lumina lived a young girl named Mira. Mira was known for her kindness and adventurous spirit. She often gazed at the starlit orchard from her window, dreaming of one day exploring its magical trees. Her grandmother had once told her that the orchard held a secret, a hidden grove where the most powerful starfruit of all grew, known as the celestial fruit. One moonlit evening, as the village prepared for the annual harvest festival, the orchard's lights began to flicker and fade. The villagers grew worried, for the festival depended on the orchard's glowing fruits. Mira, determined to help, decided to investigate the source of the fading light. With a small lantern and a basket, Mira entered the orchard as twilight fell. She walked among the trees, marveling at the soft, starlit glow, until she reached a secluded corner of the orchard. There, she found a wise old owl perched on a low branch. "Greetings, young one," the owl hooted softly. "I am Orion, the guardian of the Starlit Orchard. The light of the starfruits has dimmed because the celestial fruit is missing. Without it, the orchard's magic fades." Mira's eyes widened with determination. "Where can I find the celestial fruit?" Orion's eyes glowed gently. "To find the celestial fruit, you must undertake 3 trials. Each trial will test your heart and spirit. Only those who are true of heart can reach the hidden grove where the celestial fruit grows." With a nod of resolve, Mira accepted the challenge. Orion guided her to the first trial, which was located at the edge of the orchard, where a serene pond lay. The challenge was to retrieve a glimmering star from the middle of the pond, guarded by a shimmering water spirit. The water spirit spoke, "To take the star, you must answer this riddle. I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter, but not go inside. What am I?" Mira thought carefully and replied, "A piano." The water spirit smiled and handed Mira the star, which twinkled brightly. Mira continued her journey, carrying the star with her. The second trial led Mira to a dense thicket of thorny bushes. In the center was a crystal-clear stream with a bridge made of shimmering light. But the bridge was guarded by a mischievous fairy who challenged her with a task. The fairy said, "To cross the bridge, you must show me a heart full of kindness. Find something in the thicket that can bring joy to someone else." Mira searched through the thicket and found a delicate, colorful flower hidden among the thorns. She picked it gently and offered it to the fairy, who was delighted by Mira's act of kindness. The fairy allowed Mira to cross the bridge and continue her journey. The final trial took Mira to a dark, mysterious cave. Inside the cave, a maze of glowing, twisting paths awaited her. At the end of the maze was a golden door, but it was locked with a magical keyhole that required a special key. Mira searched through the maze and found the key hidden in a small alcove. With the key in hand, Mira unlocked the golden door and entered a hidden grove bathed in soft, ethereal light. In the center of the grove stood a tree with a single, radiant celestial fruit hanging from its branches. As Mira reached for the celestial fruit, a gentle breeze rustled through the grove, and the fruit glowed even brighter. She carefully picked the fruit and felt its warmth and magic. When Mira returned to the orchard with the celestial fruit, the light of the star fruits began to shine brightly once more. The orchard was filled with a brilliant, golden glow, and the villagers rejoiced as the harvest festival continued with renewed magic and joy. The villagers celebrated Mira's bravery and kindness, and the story of her quest became a cherished legend in Lumina. The celestial fruit was placed in a special place in the village square, where its light would always remind everyone of the courage and heart it took to restore the magic of the starlit orchard. And so, the village of Lumina thrived under the magical glow of the orchard, and Mira's tale was passed down through generations, a testament to the power of determination and the magic that lies within a true heart. Once upon a time, in a world where time flowed with a gentle rhythm, there existed a hidden realm known as the Clockwork Kingdom. This kingdom was unique, for everything within it, from the grand castles to the smallest flowers, was made of intricate gears, cogs, and shimmering metals. The kingdom was ruled by the wise and kind clockmaker king, who ensured that every gear and cog worked in perfect harmony to keep time flowing smoothly. In the Clockwork Kingdom lived a young girl named Elara. Elara was not a princess, but she had a special gift. She could hear the gentle hum of the gears and cogs that made up the kingdom. This gift allowed her to understand the intricate workings of the kingdom's magical machinery. Elara loved the Clockwork Kingdom dearly and spent her days exploring its many wonders. One day, a mysterious problem arose. The Grand Clock Tower, which stood at the heart of the kingdom and was crucial for keeping time, began to slow down. The once steady tick-tock of the clock became irregular, and the gears inside the tower started to grind and seize. Without the Grand Clock Tower functioning properly, time in the kingdom would soon come to a halt, and everything would fall into chaos. The Clockmaker King called upon his best engineers and artisans to solve the problem, but none could fix the malfunction. The king's face grew grave as he realized that the problem might be beyond even their combined skills. Elara, sensing the urgency and knowing she had a special connection with the kingdom's magic, approached the king with determination. "Your Majesty," Elara said, "I believe I can help. I have a gift that allows me to understand the gears and cogs of our kingdom in ways others might not. May I try to solve the problem?" The king, though hesitant, agreed. Elara set off toward the Grand Clock Tower with a heart full of hope and determination. As she approached the tower, she could feel the tension and distress of the gears. She carefully examined the mechanisms, listening to the subtle changes in their hum. In the depths of the clock tower, Elara discovered an ancient, dusty gear that was unlike any she had seen before. It was intricately engraved with mysterious symbols and seemed to be stuck, preventing the other gears from moving smoothly. Elara realized that this ancient gear must be the source of the problem. She carefully cleaned and polished the gear, but it still wouldn't move. Elara remembered a legend about a forgotten spell that could revive ancient magic. According to the legend, the spell required a drop of starlight and a heartfelt wish. Elara knew that she had to find a way to obtain these. As night fell, Elara climbed to the top of the Clockwork Kingdom's tallest tower, where the stars twinkled brilliantly. With her heart full of hope, she made a wish upon the stars, asking them to help restore the magic of the ancient gear. A gentle, shimmering light descended from the sky, touching the gear and filling it with a warm, soothing glow. With the starlight's magic reviving the gear, it began to turn smoothly, and the other gears in the Grand Clock Tower started to move in harmony once more. The clock's hands resumed their steady tick-tock, and the kingdom's time flowed seamlessly again. Elara returned to the Clockmaker King, who greeted her with immense gratitude. "You have saved our kingdom, Elara. Your bravery and connection to our magic have restored the harmony we thought we had lost." The king and the people of the Clockwork Kingdom celebrated Elara's success with a grand festival, where the air was filled with the cheerful sound of ticking clocks and the gleaming sparkle of clockwork decorations. Ilara was honored as a hero, and the clockmaker king appointed her as the kingdom's new chief timekeeper, a position that allowed her to continue her work in maintaining the harmony of the kingdom's time. The Clockwork Kingdom thrived once more, its gears and cogs working perfectly in sync. Ilara's gift and bravery had preserved the magic and balance of the kingdom, and her tale became a cherished legend. And so, the Clockwork Kingdom continued to shine, its time flowing gracefully and its people living in harmony, thanks to the bravery of one girl who listened to the hum of the gears and followed her heart. The end. Once upon a time, in a tranquil valley surrounded by rolling hills and shimmering lakes, there was a tiny village known for its breathtaking night skies. Each evening, the villagers would gather to watch the stars twinkle and dance in the sky, filling their hearts with wonder. The most enchanting legend of all was the tale of the Lantern of Stars, a magical lantern said to be able to capture the light of the stars and grant one wish to anyone who could find it. In this village lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her boundless curiosity and love of the night sky. Every night, she would gaze up at the stars and dream of discovering the Lantern of Stars. Her dreams weren't just about making a wish for herself, but rather using the lantern's magic to help her village, which had recently suffered from a series of unfortunate events that left the fields barren and the river running dry. One crisp autumn evening, Lyra decided it was time to embark on a quest to find the Lantern of Stars and restore hope to her village. The first challenge, the Whispering Forest. Lyra's journey began in the Whispering Forest, a mystical place where the trees seemed to speak in hushed tones and the leaves rustled with secrets. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she came across an ancient oak tree with a face carved into its trunk. To pass through the Whispering Forest, the tree said in a voice as old as time, "You must solve this riddle. I have keys but open no locks. I have space but no room. You can enter but not go outside." What am I? Lyra thought for a moment and answered, "A piano." The ancient oak tree's eyes sparkled with approval, and it parted its branches to reveal a hidden path. "Follow this path to continue your quest," the tree advised. The second challenge, the River of Reflections. Lyra followed the path and soon reached the River of Reflections, a serene river with water so clear it mirrored the sky perfectly. The river was guarded by a graceful swan whose feathers glistened like moonlight. To cross the River of Reflections, the swan said in a melodious voice, "You must answer this question. The more you take, the more you leave behind." What am I? Lyra pondered the question and replied, "Footsteps." The swan's eyes shone with delight, and it flapped its wings, creating a bridge of sparkling water lilies across the river. Lyra carefully crossed the bridge, her heart filled with hope. The third challenge, the Cave of Echoes. On the other side of the river, Lyra arrived at the entrance of the Cave of Echoes, a grand cavern where the walls seemed to hum with a soft, resonant melody. At the entrance stood a large, ornate door with intricate star patterns. A gentle voice echoed from within the cave, "To unlock this door and find the Lantern of Stars, you must reveal your true heart. Share your deepest wish and prove that you seek it with sincerity." Lyra took a deep breath and spoke with honesty, "My deepest wish is to find the Lantern of Stars and use its magic to bring prosperity and joy back to my village. I want to help my people and restore the land that has suffered." The cave's walls began to glow with a warm, golden light, and the ancient door slowly creaked open, revealing a chamber bathed in a soft, celestial light. In the center of the chamber stood the Lantern of Stars, its surface shimmering with the light of countless stars. The revelation, the lantern's gift. With the Lantern of Stars in her hands, Lyra returned to her village. As she held the lantern up to the night sky, its light began to shine brightly, sending a cascade of starry beams across the land. The barren fields turned lush and green, the river flowed with crystal-clear water, and a sense of joy and prosperity returned to the village. The villagers gathered around Lyra, amazed by the transformation. They celebrated her bravery and the magic of the Lantern of Stars, grateful for the return of their land's abundance and happiness. The tale of Lyra's quest and the Lantern of Stars became a cherished story in the village, a reminder of the power of hope, courage, and the magic that lies within the heart of those who seek to bring light and joy to others. Under the twinkling stars and the magic of the lantern, the village thrived once more, forever grateful for the girl who had restored their dreams and their land. Once upon a time, in the magical kingdom of Verdantia, nestled between verdant hills and sparkling lakes, there was a legend about a mystical creature known as the Rainbow Dragon. This dragon was said to possess scales of shimmering colors and could control the weather with a single breath. Its presence brought prosperity and happiness to the land, but it had not been seen for centuries. The people of Verdantia had lived in peace and abundance, thanks to the ancient blessing of the Rainbow Dragon. However, as time passed and the dragon disappeared, the kingdom began to experience harsh winters, scorching summers, and erratic weather patterns. The crops failed, and the rivers began to dry up. King Cedric, the wise and compassionate ruler of Verdantia, knew something had to be done. One day, he called upon the bravest and most adventurous souls in the kingdom. Among them was a young girl named Elara. She was not a knight or a sorcerer, but she had a heart full of courage and a deep love for her homeland. Elara had always been fascinated by the stories of the Rainbow Dragon and dreamed of one day seeing it with her own eyes. "Your Majesty," Elara said, bowing before King Cedric, "I will find the Rainbow Dragon and bring back its blessing to Verdantia." King Cedric looked at Elara with admiration. "You have a brave heart, Elara. Take this map. It will guide you to the Whispering Mountains, where it is said the Rainbow Dragon dwells. May the spirits of Verdantia protect you on your journey." With the map in hand and determination in her heart, Elara set off on her quest. She traveled through dense forests, crossed roaring rivers, and climbed steep hills, guided by the map and her unwavering resolve. Along the way, she befriended a small, clever fox named Lyric, who decided to accompany her on her journey. "Hello, Elara," Lyric said, his eyes twinkling with mischief. "I know these lands well and can help you find the Rainbow Dragon." Grateful for the company, Elara and Lyric continued their journey together. As they reached the edge of the Whispering Mountains, they encountered an ancient tree with a face carved into its bark. The tree was the guardian of the mountains and spoke in a deep, resonant voice. "Brave traveler," the guardian said, "to pass through these mountains, you must solve my riddle. I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Whenever I go, darkness flies. What am I?" Elara thought for a moment and then replied, "A cloud." The guardian's branches rustled in approval, and it revealed a hidden path that led through the mountains. "Proceed with courage, Elara, and may your heart guide you." As they journeyed deeper into the mountains, Elara and Lyric came across a sparkling stream guarded by a graceful water nymph named Seraphina. The nymph's laughter was like music, and she greeted them with a smile. "To cross my stream," Seraphina said, "you must show your compassion. There is a wounded bird nearby that needs help. Tend to it, and I will grant you passage." Elara and Lyric found the injured bird and gently cared for it, using herbs and bandages. Once the bird was healed, it sang a beautiful song of gratitude and flew away. Seraphina, touched by their kindness, created a bridge of water lilies for them to cross. On the other side of the stream, they arrived at a cave that glowed with a soft, ethereal light. Inside, they found the Rainbow Dragon, resting peacefully. Its scales shimmered in every color imaginable, creating a mesmerizing display of light. The Rainbow Dragon opened its eyes and looked at Elara. "Brave girl, why have you come to my lair?" Elara stepped forward and spoke from her heart. "Great Rainbow Dragon, our kingdom is in dire need of your blessing. The weather has become erratic, and our people are suffering. I beg you to return to Verdantia and restore balance to our land." The Rainbow Dragon listened intently and then nodded. "I have been waiting for someone with a pure heart and selfless intentions to seek me out. I will return to Verdantia and bring back the prosperity it once knew." With a powerful beat of its wings, the Rainbow Dragon soared into the sky, its scales casting a brilliant light over the land. Elara and Lyric followed, watching in awe as the dragon's magic transformed the kingdom. The weather returned to normal, the rivers flowed with crystal clear water, and the fields bloomed with vibrant crops. King Cedric and the people of Verdantia rejoiced at the return of the Rainbow Dragon. The kingdom was restored to its former glory, and Elara was celebrated as a hero. The Rainbow Dragon made its home in the Enchanted Forest, watching over the land and ensuring that balance was maintained. From that day forward, Elara's bravery and kindness were remembered in songs and stories. The Rainbow Dragon's presence brought peace and prosperity to Verdantia, and its legend lived on, inspiring generations to come. And so, the kingdom of Verdantia thrived under the watchful eye of the Rainbow Dragon, a symbol of hope, courage, and the enduring power of a pure heart. Once upon a time, in a hidden valley surrounded by misty mountains, there lay a small village where the moonlight shimmered with a magical glow. In this village lived a kind-hearted girl named Lila, who loved exploring the woods and listening to the songs of the forest creatures. One evening, while wandering through the moonlit forest, Lila stumbled upon a peculiar lantern half buried under a blanket of fallen leaves. It was an old brass lantern with intricate designs, its glass panels sparkling as if they were catching the light of 1,000 stars. Curious, Lila picked it up, and as she did, the lantern began to glow warmly. A gentle, melodic voice emanated from the lantern. "Thank you for finding me. I am Lumina, the guardian of lost dreams. For many years, I've been waiting for someone pure of heart to help me." Lila was amazed. "A guardian of lost dreams? How can I help?" Lumina explained that she had been trapped in the lantern by an envious sorcerer who wanted to steal the dreams she protected. To break the enchantment, Lila had to embark on a quest to restore the lantern's magical power by retrieving 3 sacred gems: the Ruby of Courage, the Sapphire of Wisdom, and the Emerald of Kindness. Determined to help Lumina, Lila set off on her quest. Her first destination was the Cave of Echoes, where the Ruby of Courage was hidden. The cave was dark and filled with the echoes of the past. Inside, Lila found a fierce dragon guarding a shimmering ruby. Instead of using force, Lila approached the dragon with kindness and spoke to it about her quest and her desire to help. Moved by her bravery and sincerity, the dragon agreed to give her the Ruby of Courage. Next, Lila journeyed to the Mountain of Wisdom. She climbed the steep slopes and reached a secluded temple where the Sapphire of Wisdom was kept. The wise old guardian of the temple tested Lila's knowledge with riddles and challenges. Lila answered each question with thoughtful answers, and the guardian, impressed by her wisdom, handed her the sapphire. Her final destination was the Glade of Kindness, a beautiful meadow where the Emerald of Kindness was said to be hidden. In the glade, Lila found a magical tree whose branches were heavy with glowing emeralds. The tree spoke to her and explained that to receive the emerald, she must show true kindness to someone in need. As Lila wandered through the meadow, she came across a young, lost fawn. It was trembling and hungry. Lila gently cared for the fawn, sharing the food she had brought with her and guiding it back to its family. The fawn's mother, grateful for Lila's kindness, gave her the Emerald of Kindness. With all 3 gems in hand, Lila returned to the lantern. Lumina's voice filled the air with joy as Lila placed the gems into their rightful places on the lantern. The lantern's glow grew brighter and brighter, filling the forest with a warm, enchanting light. As the spell was broken, Lumina emerged from the lantern in a swirl of stardust and shimmering light. She thanked Lila for her bravery and kindness. "You have restored my magic and helped me return to my duty of guiding lost dreams." Lila smiled. "I'm glad I could help. What will happen to the lantern now?" Lumina looked at Lila with gratitude. "The lantern will remain here as a beacon of hope and dreams. And whenever you need guidance or wish to dream, just look into its light, and it will guide you." From that day on, the enchanted lantern was a source of inspiration and comfort for the villagers. Lila continued to explore the forest and listen to its songs, knowing that the lantern's light would always be there to guide her. And so, the magic of the lantern and the bravery of a kind-hearted girl became a cherished story passed down through the generations, a reminder that even the smallest act of kindness could illuminate the darkest of places. The end. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the night sky was always filled with twinkling stars, there lived a young boy named Finn. Finn was an orphan, living in a small village at the edge of a vast forest. He was a kind-hearted boy, always helping his neighbors and caring for the animals in the village. But Finn had one wish that he kept close to his heart. He wished to see his parents again, even if only in a dream. One night, as Finn lay in his little bed under the thatched roof of his cottage, he saw a bright light outside his window. It was so bright that it lit up the entire room, and Finn, curious as always, jumped out of bed to see what it was. When he looked out the window, he saw the most beautiful butterfly he had ever seen. Its wings were made of pure starlight, shimmering with every color of the rainbow. The butterfly fluttered gently outside the window, as if waiting for Finn. Without thinking, Finn opened the window, and the butterfly flew into his room, filling it with a soft, warm glow. "Hello, Finn," the butterfly said in a voice as soft as the night breeze. "I am Luna, the starlight butterfly. I have come to grant you a wish." Finn was amazed. "You can grant wishes?" he asked, his eyes wide with wonder. Luna nodded. "Yes, but only one wish. And it must come from the purest part of your heart." Finn thought about his wish. He had always wanted to see his parents again, but he knew they were in a place far beyond his reach. Still, the thought of seeing them, even for a moment, filled his heart with hope. "I wish to see my parents," Finn said softly. "I miss them so much." Luna fluttered her wings, and the room filled with a soft, silver light. "Your wish is a noble one, Finn. To grant it, I must take you on a journey to the Valley of Dreams, where all wishes are born. But be warned, the journey is not easy, and you must be brave." Finn nodded, determination in his eyes. "I'm ready." With a gentle flap of her wings, Luna lifted Finn into the air. Together, they flew out of the cottage and up into the night sky. The village below grew smaller and smaller as they soared higher, the stars twinkling all around them like diamonds. As they flew, Luna told Finn about the Valley of Dreams. "It is a place where all dreams and wishes come true," she explained. "But to reach it, you must pass through 3 challenges, each one testing the strength of your heart." After what felt like hours, they reached the first challenge. Below them was a vast sea, its waters dark and churning. In the middle of the sea was a small island, and on the island stood a tall, shadowy figure. "This is the Sea of Sorrows," Luna said. "The figure you see is the guardian of grief. He will try to make you give up by reminding you of all your sadness and loss. But you must hold on to your hope." Finn took a deep breath and nodded. He felt a shiver run down his spine as they descended to the island. The guardian of grief was a towering figure, his eyes dark and cold. "Why do you seek to see your parents, child?" the guardian asked in a voice that echoed like thunder. "They are gone, and nothing can bring them back. Your wish is hopeless." Finn felt a pang of sadness, but he remembered Luna's words. "I know they are gone," Finn replied, his voice steady. "But my love for them is still strong. My wish is not to change the past, but to find peace in my heart." The guardian of grief stared at Finn for a long moment. Then, slowly, he bowed his head. "Your heart is strong, young one," he said. "You may pass." With that, the guardian faded away, and the sea calmed. Luna and Finn continued their journey, flying across the now peaceful waters. The second challenge awaited them in a dark forest. The trees were tall and twisted, their branches reaching out like claws. As they flew deeper into the forest, the air grew colder, and Finn could feel fear creeping into his heart. "This is the forest of fear," Luna whispered. "Here, the shadows of your deepest fears will try to trap you. But remember, fear is only as strong as you let it be." As they moved forward, the shadows around them began to take shape. Finn saw figures emerging from the darkness, things that had always frightened him. He saw wolves with glowing eyes, towering monsters with sharp teeth, and even the lonely nights he had spent wishing for his parents. Finn's heart pounded in his chest, but he took a deep breath and remembered what Luna had told him. "These are just shadows," he told himself. "They can't hurt me unless I let them." With that thought, Finn faced the shadows head-on. He walked toward the wolves, and as he did, they began to fade. The monsters disappeared, and the darkness lifted. The forest was no longer frightening, it was just a quiet, peaceful place. "You have faced your fears and overcome them," Luna said, her voice filled with pride. "You are truly brave, Finn." Finally, they reached the third challenge, a towering mountain that reached up into the clouds. At the top of the mountain was the entrance to the Valley of Dreams. "This is the Mountain of Doubt," Luna explained. "The climb is steep and difficult. Doubt will try to weigh you down, making you question yourself. But if you believe in your wish, you will reach the top." Finn looked up at the mountain, feeling its immense height. But he also felt the strength of his wish guiding him. He started to climb, gripping the rocks tightly as he made his way up. The higher he climbed, the heavier the doubt became. He heard voices whispering in his ear, telling him he wasn't strong enough, that he should turn back. But Finn kept climbing, each step fueled by the love he had for his parents and his desire to see them once more. He knew that this wish was more than just for himself, it was to heal the ache in his heart and to honor the memory of his parents. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Finn reached the top of the mountain. He stood before the entrance to the Valley of Dreams, exhausted but filled with a sense of accomplishment. "You did it, Finn," Luna said, landing beside him. "You believed in yourself, and now your wish will come true." Finn stepped into the Valley of Dreams, and as he did, he found himself standing in a beautiful meadow filled with soft, golden light. In the distance, he saw two familiar figures, a man and a woman, smiling warmly at him. "Mom? Dad?" Finn whispered, tears filling his eyes. The figures nodded and opened their arms, and Finn ran to them, feeling their warm embrace. The moment was filled with love and peace, and Finn felt all the pain and sadness in his heart melt away. "We are always with you, Finn," his mother said softly. "Even when you can't see us, we are in your heart. Be brave and kind, just as you have always been," his father added. "We are so proud of you." Finn nodded, knowing that these words would stay with him forever. The light around them began to fade, and Finn felt himself being gently pulled back. When he opened his eyes, he was back in his little cottage, with Luna fluttering beside him. The room was filled with the soft glow of the butterfly's wings. "Thank you, Luna," Finn said, his heart full of gratitude. "You are welcome, Finn," Luna replied. "Remember, the strength to overcome any challenge lies within your heart. That is the true magic." With that, Luna fluttered out of the window and disappeared into the night sky, leaving Finn with a heart full of peace and a memory that would last a lifetime. From that night on, Finn knew that he could face any challenge, and that his parents' love would always be with him, guiding him through even the darkest times. The end. Once upon a time, in a peaceful kingdom surrounded by vast meadows and deep forests, there was a small village named Luminera. The village was famous for its annual Moonlight Festival, where the villagers celebrated the beauty of the full moon with lanterns that were said to have magical properties. These lanterns were believed to bring good fortune and happiness to those who held them. In Luminera lived a young girl named Lyra. Lyra was known for her love of the moon and her curiosity about the magical lanterns. Every year, she eagerly awaited the Moonlight Festival, but this year, something felt different. The village had been struck by a series of misfortunes. Crops had failed, animals were ill, and the once vibrant festival preparations seemed subdued. Determined to bring back the village's joy, Lyra decided to seek out the source of the lantern's magic. She had heard of an old legend that spoke of a hidden moonlight lantern, one that was more powerful than the rest. This lantern, according to the legend, was hidden deep in the enchanted forest and could only be found by someone with a true heart and pure intentions. One evening, under the light of the full moon, Lyra set off on her quest. She packed a small bag with essentials, a map, some bread, and a flask of water. Her royal cat, Luna, joined her for the adventure. As Lyra and Luna ventured into the enchanted forest, they encountered their first challenge, a dense fog that seemed to swirl and shift, making it hard to see. A soft, melodic voice called out from the fog, guiding them to a small, glowing mushroom. "Follow the path of light," the voice said. It will lead you to the heart of the forest. Lyra followed the glowing mushrooms, which created a trail through the fog. After walking for a while, they arrived at a sparkling stream with clear, flowing water. On the other side of the stream stood a wise old fox named Felix. "Greetings, traveler," Felix said. "To cross the stream, you must solve a riddle." Lyra, eager to continue, agreed. Felix's riddle was, "I have cities but no houses, forests but no trees, and rivers but no water. What am I?" Lyra thought for a moment and answered, "A map." Felix nodded approvingly and helped Lyra and Luna across the stream using stepping stones that appeared magically. On the other side of the stream, they found themselves in a meadow filled with glowing fireflies. In the center of the meadow was a beautiful, ancient oak tree with a small, intricately carved door at its base. The door was locked, and a note was attached that read, "Only the pure-hearted can unlock this door." Lyra reached into her bag and pulled out a golden key her grandmother had given her. She had always kept it with her, believing it to be a symbol of hope. When she placed the key into the lock, the door opened with a gentle creak. Inside, they discovered a hidden chamber bathed in soft moonlight. At the center of the chamber stood the moonlight lantern, glowing with a radiant, silvery light. As Lyra approached the lantern, she felt a warm, comforting presence. A gentle voice spoke from the lantern, "You have shown great courage and kindness. The magic of this lantern is now yours to share." With the lantern in hand, Lyra and Luna made their way back to Luminera. The village was still gloomy, but as Lyra approached with the moonlight lantern, a magical glow began to spread through the air. The lantern's light filled the village with a warm, soothing radiance. The villagers gathered around in awe as the lantern's magic lifted their spirits and healed their troubles. The crops began to flourish, the animals recovered, and the festival preparations turned into a grand celebration. The Moonlight Festival was more vibrant and joyful than ever before. Lyra was celebrated as a hero, and the Moonlight Lantern was placed in the village square, where it continued to shine and bring happiness to all. The village of Luminera thrived, and the legend of the Moonlight Lantern was passed down through generations as a reminder of the power of courage, kindness, and the magic that lies within a pure heart. And they all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed this fairy tale. Once upon a time, in a hidden valley surrounded by misty mountains, there was a magical village called Starhaven. This village was known for its extraordinary night skies, where stars seemed to dance and twinkle more brightly than anywhere else in the world. The village's most cherished treasure was the Stardust Fountain, a beautiful fountain said to be blessed by the star spirits themselves. In Starhaven lived a curious and imaginative girl named Lyra. Lyra loved to stargaze and dream of distant places. She often wandered the village at night, marveling at the starry sky and listening to the gentle lullabies sung by the star spirits. One evening, as Lyra was near the Stardust Fountain, she noticed something unusual. The fountain's water had stopped shimmering, and the stars above seemed dimmer than usual. Concerned, Lyra approached the fountain and discovered a small, glowing note at its base. The note read, "To restore the star's light, you must find the celestial crown hidden in the Shadow Grove. Only then can the night sky be made bright again." Lyra felt a surge of determination. She knew she had to find the celestial crown to restore the magic of Starhaven. With a sense of purpose, she set out on her quest, guided by the light of the stars and the soft glow of the note. The Shadow Grove was a mysterious and dark forest on the edge of Starhaven. As Lyra entered the grove, she noticed that the trees seemed to whisper secrets and the air was filled with a sense of enchantment. She followed a narrow path that led deeper into the forest, where shadows danced among the trees. Suddenly, a soft, melodic voice spoke from the shadows. "To find the celestial crown, you must complete 3 trials," said a graceful figure emerging from the darkness. It was a moonlight fairy with wings that sparkled like stars. The first trial was the trial of courage. The fairy led Lyra to a vast, dark cavern where a fearsome dragon lay sleeping. To pass the trial, Lyra had to retrieve a glowing crystal from the cavern's center without waking the dragon. Lyra approached the dragon carefully, her heart pounding, but her determination was unwavering. With a steady hand, she retrieved the crystal and carefully returned it to the fairy. The fairy smiled and guided Lyra to the second trial, the trial of compassion. In a hidden glade, Lyra found a wounded nightingale with a broken wing. The fairy explained that the nightingale needed help to fly again. Lyra gently tended to the bird, using her own scarf to create a makeshift bandage. She sang a soothing lullaby, and the nightingale's strength gradually returned. The bird fluttered its wings and flew gracefully, and the fairy rewarded Lyra with a shimmering feather. The final trial was the trial of wisdom. Lyra was taken to an ancient, enchanted tree with a mysterious inscription on its trunk. "I can be cracked, made, told, and played. What am I?" Lyra thought carefully and answered, "A joke." The inscription glowed brightly, revealing a hidden compartment containing a silver key. With the key in hand, Lyra followed the fairy to the heart of the Shadow Grove, where she found an ancient, locked chest adorned with celestial patterns. She used the silver key to unlock the chest, revealing the celestial crown, a magnificent crown adorned with radiant jewels that sparkled like the night sky. As Lyra placed the crown on the stardust fountain, the fountain's water began to shimmer with a brilliant light. The stars above grew brighter, filling the sky with a dazzling display of twinkling constellations. The magic of the night sky was restored, and the village of Starhaven rejoiced. Lyra returned to Starhaven as a hero. The villagers celebrated her bravery and kindness with a grand festival beneath the starry sky. The Stardust Fountain continued to shine brightly, and the night sky of Starhaven became even more magical than before. Lyra's adventure became a cherished tale in Starhaven, and she grew up to be a wise and inspiring leader. The stars continued to dance and twinkle, reminding everyone of the courage and compassion that had restored their light. And so, Starhaven thrived under the brilliance of its magical night sky, and Lyra's story lived on, a testament to the power of bravery and kindness. And they all lived happily ever after. In a quiet, misty valley surrounded by towering mountains and ancient forests, there was a quaint village named Bramblewood. The village was known for its serene beauty and the mysterious fog that often enveloped it, giving it an ethereal quality. At the heart of the village was a cozy little shop owned by an old toymaker named Mr. Finch. His shop was filled with intricate toys and curiosities, but the most enchanting item was a beautifully crafted lantern that glowed with a soft, golden light. The lantern was said to have magical properties, though no one knew its true power. The village children were fascinated by it, and even the adults would occasionally gaze at it with a sense of wonder. One evening, as the village prepared for the harvest festival, a young girl named Lily wandered into Mr. Finch's shop. Lily was known for her boundless curiosity and kind heart. She had always been drawn to the lantern, and today, she felt an irresistible urge to learn more about it. "Mr. Finch," Lily said, her eyes wide with curiosity, "can you tell me about this lantern?" Mr. Finch, who had a twinkle in his eye, replied, "Ah, the enchanted lantern. It is a special piece, indeed. Legend has it that the lantern holds the power to reveal hidden truths and guide those who seek it with a pure heart. But its magic is not easily unlocked." Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement. "How can I unlock its magic?" Mr. Finch smiled gently. "To reveal its true power, you must embark on a quest. The lantern will guide you to 3 places in the valley where you will find clues. Only by solving the mysteries at each place will you unlock the lantern's magic." Lily accepted the challenge with enthusiasm. As night fell and the harvest festival began, she took the lantern and set out on her quest. The first clue led her to an ancient oak tree at the edge of the village. The tree was old and wise, its branches stretching out like arms welcoming visitors. Lily approached the tree and noticed a small, intricately carved wooden box nestled among the roots. Inside the box was a parchment with a riddle: "Where shadows dance and moonlight plays, find the song where the heart stays." Lily pondered the riddle and remembered the village's old folklore about the moonlit glade, a place where moonlight created enchanting patterns on the ground. She made her way to the glade, where the moon's light indeed danced in delicate patterns. In the center of the glade was a stone pedestal with a small, silver music box. When Lily opened the music box, it played a beautiful, melodic tune. The melody was soothing, and Lily felt a sense of calm and clarity. She realized that the music box was the key to the next clue. As the music played, a hidden compartment in the pedestal opened, revealing a second parchment with another riddle. Where waters whisper and secrets hide, the key to the past is where dreams reside. Lily followed the clue to the Whispering Pond, a serene and secluded spot in the forest where the water was said to carry secrets of the past. As she approached the pond, she heard faint whispers carried by the breeze. At the edge of the pond, Lily found the small, golden locket resting on a rock. Opening the locket, Lily discovered a third parchment with a final riddle. Where stars converge and wishes are made, seek the light where the night's embrace fades. With the final clue in hand, Lily made her way to the highest point in the valley, known as the Starlight Ridge. Here, the night sky was at its most brilliant, and the stars seemed to touch the earth. As she gazed at the stars, she noticed a small, hidden cave illuminated by the gentle light of a single star. Inside the cave, Lily found a delicate, crystal-clear vial filled with sparkling stardust. The vial emitted a soft, shimmering glow, and as she held it up, the lantern began to respond, its golden light growing brighter. Lily returned to Mr. Finch's shop, where the old toymaker awaited her. She placed the vial and the lantern on the counter, and Mr. Finch nodded approvingly. "You have completed the quest," he said. "The lantern's magic is now fully unlocked. It will guide you in times of need and reveal hidden truths." As Lily held the lantern up, its light seemed to expand and fill the room with a warm, comforting glow. The lantern's golden light revealed a hidden compartment in the shop's wall, where a beautiful, ancient map was stored. The map showed hidden paths and secrets of the valley, and Mr. Finch explained that the lantern would help guide the villagers in times of trouble or when they needed to find their way. It was a symbol of hope and guidance, reminding them that light and truth could always be found, even in the darkest times. Lily's adventure became a cherished story in Bramblewood, and the enchanted lantern was celebrated as a symbol of the village's unity and resilience. The lantern continued to shine brightly, guiding and inspiring the villagers, and Lily became known as the girl who unlocked the magic of the lantern with her pure heart and unwavering curiosity. And so, the village of Bramblewood thrived, illuminated by the light of the enchanted lantern and the spirit of discovery that it inspired in all who beheld it. Once upon a time, in a village nestled between rolling hills and the sparkling river, there was a curious girl named Elara who loved exploring the woods. One sunny afternoon, as Elara wandered deeper into the forest than ever before, she stumbled upon an old, ivy-covered gate entwined with flowers that shimmered in every color of the rainbow. The gate was locked, but Elara noticed a tiny key hanging from a branch nearby. She took the key, and as it fit perfectly into the gate's lock, a soft click echoed through the forest. The gate creaked open to reveal a hidden garden beyond, a place she had never seen. The garden was a magical wonderland. Tall, ancient trees with leaves that glistened like diamonds formed a canopy overhead. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and in the center of the garden was a large, sparkling pond. On the pond floated lily pads, each adorned with glowing golden flowers. Elara approached the pond and saw a small, delicate fairy sitting on a lily pad, her wings sparkling like the stars. The fairy looked up and smiled. "Welcome, Elara. I am Lyra, the guardian of this enchanted garden. You have unlocked the gate to a place few have ever seen." Elara was amazed. "How do you know my name?" Lyra giggled. "The garden knows all who enter. We have been waiting for someone with a kind heart and brave spirit. There is a special quest I need your help with." "What is it?" Elara asked eagerly. "The magical balance of our garden is disrupted," Lyra explained. "A dark shadow has stolen the heart of the garden, a crystal that keeps our world flourishing. Without it, the garden will wilt and fade. We need to retrieve it before the garden's magic is lost forever." Elara's eyes widened. "How can I help?" Lyra handed her a map made of shimmering leaves. "Follow this map to the Cavern of Echoes. The heart of the garden is hidden there, guarded by a riddle that only the pure of heart can solve. With determination in her eyes, Elara set off on her quest. The map led her through dense thickets and over babbling brooks. After a long journey, she reached the entrance to the Cavern of Echoes, a grand, dark cave with sparkling stalactites. Inside, the cavern was filled with echoes of past voices, creating a mystical ambience. In the center of the cavern stood a pedestal with a golden box on it. A note lay beside it, inscribed with the riddle, "I am not alive, yet I grow. I do not have lungs, yet I need air. I do not have a mouth, yet water kills me. What am I?" Elara thought carefully. She remembered her adventures and the things she had seen. Then it hit her, the answer was fire. She spoke the word aloud, and the golden box opened, revealing the heart of the garden, glowing with a warm, comforting light. With the heart of the garden in hand, Elara returned to the enchanted garden. Lyra was waiting by the pond, her wings fluttering with excitement. Elara placed the heart back in its rightful place, and a wave of vibrant energy spread through the garden. Flowers bloomed even more brightly, and the trees seemed to dance in the gentle breeze. "Thank you, Elara," Lyra said, tears of joy sparkling in her eyes. "You have saved our garden and restored its magic." Elara smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment and wonder. "I'm glad I could help. This garden is truly amazing." Lyra gave her a small, glowing flower as a token of gratitude. "Whenever you need a bit of magic, just think of this flower, and it will guide you back here." Elara bid farewell to Lyra and the enchanted garden, knowing she had been part of something truly special. As she left the forest and returned to her village, she carried the memory of her adventure and the glowing flower as a reminder of the magic that existed in the world, just waiting to be discovered. And so, Elara's days were filled with wonder and joy, knowing that sometimes, the most magical things are found in the places we least expect. The end. In a serene village nestled between rolling hills and sparkling rivers, there was a magical grove known only to a few. This grove, called the Moonlit Grove, was famous for its enchanting glow and the legend of its hidden treasure, a magical moonstone that could grant a single wish. In this village lived a brave little fox named Finn. Though small in size, Finn had a heart full of courage and a keen sense of adventure. He often heard the stories about the Moonlit Grove and dreamed of finding the magical moonstone to help his village. One crisp autumn evening, as the full moon rose and bathed the world in silver light, Finn decided it was time to embark on his adventure. With a small satchel filled with essentials, he set out toward the Moonlit Grove, guided by the shimmering moonlight. The path to the grove was winding and full of shadows, but Finn was determined. As he walked, the moonlight revealed the path ahead, and he could hear the soft rustling of leaves and the distant, gentle hum of the grove's magic. After some time, Finn reached the edge of the Moonlit Grove. The grove was as magical as the tales described, trees with silver leaves, flowers that glowed like stars, and a gentle, melodic breeze that whispered secrets of the night. In the center of the grove stood a grand, ancient oak tree. Its trunk was twisted and gnarled, and its branches reached high into the night sky. At the base of the tree, a small, glimmering object caught Finn's eye. It was a golden key. Finn approached the key and found a scroll beside it. Unrolling the scroll, he read the following riddle: "Brave heart, if you seek the stone, find the keeper of secrets unknown. In the center where the moonlight's warm, the guardian waits to keep you from harm." Finn pondered the riddle and looked around. The moonlight seemed to warm a particular spot in the grove, where a small, silver fountain bubbled gently. He made his way to the fountain, where a wise old owl perched on a nearby branch. "Greetings, little fox," the owl said in a voice as soft as the breeze. "I am Olwen, the guardian of the Moonlit Grove. To find the moonstone, you must prove your bravery and wisdom." Finn nodded eagerly. "What must I do?" Olwen explained that the moonstone was hidden within a magical cave at the heart of the grove, but to enter, Finn had to solve 3 riddles. Only then would the path to the cave be revealed. The first riddle was, "By day, I'm not here, but come at night, I sparkle and twinkle, a beautiful sight. I'm not a star, but I'm close to one. Find me, and your journey has just begun." Finn thought for a moment and realized that the answer was the moon. He looked up, and the moon's light seemed to brighten, revealing a hidden path that led deeper into the grove. The second riddle came from Olwen. "I have a heart that does not beat, yet I keep time and am very neat. With hands that point but do not hold, find me to uncover the next clue told." Finn immediately thought of a clock. He searched around the grove and found an ancient sundial hidden among the flowers. At its base, he found a small keyhole, and he used the golden key from earlier to open a hidden compartment containing the next clue. The final riddle was, "In the heart of the grove where shadows dance, you'll find a light that gives you a chance. When you're lost in darkness, look for the glow, the path to the moonstone it will show." Finn made his way to the center of the grove, where the moonlight was brightest. There, he saw a beautiful, glowing orb hovering above a small pedestal. As he touched the orb, the pedestal slid open to reveal a hidden passage. With excitement, Finn ventured into the passage, which led to a small, sparkling cave. At its center was the magical moonstone, glowing softly and radiating warmth. Finn carefully picked up the moonstone, and as he did, he felt a sense of peace and joy. Returning to the village, Finn was greeted as a hero. The moonstone's magic filled the village with happiness and prosperity. Finn used his wish to ensure that his village would always have enough food and that everyone would be safe and content. From then on, Finn was celebrated not only for his bravery but also for his kind heart. The moonlit grove remained a place of wonder, and Finn's adventure became a cherished tale that inspired others to seek their own dreams with courage and hope. And so, the brave little fox and his village lived happily ever after, under the watchful glow of the magical moonstone. The end. Once upon a time, in a picturesque kingdom bordered by enchanted woods, there was a quaint village named Bramblewood. The villagers lived in harmony with nature, and their most cherished tradition was the annual Lantern Festival. Each year, they would light beautifully crafted lanterns to celebrate the bond between their world and the magical forest surrounding them. At the edge of the village lived a young girl named Mia. She was known for her adventurous spirit and her love of the forest, which she explored daily with her loyal companion, a clever fox named Finn. Mia's father was the village lantern maker, and she often helped him craft the intricate designs that would light up the sky during the festival. One autumn evening, as the Lantern Festival approached, Mia's father fell ill, leaving him unable to finish the most important lantern of the year, the Grand Lantern, which was said to bring blessings and protection to the village. Mia felt a deep sense of responsibility and wanted to ensure the lantern was ready. Her father had told her of an ancient legend that the Grand Lantern must be completed with a special light known as the Lantern of the Lost Forest. This magical light could only be found by someone pure of heart who ventured into the deepest part of the forest. Determined to save the festival and help her father, Mia set off with Finn into the heart of the forest. As they ventured deeper, the woods grew darker and more mysterious. The trees seemed to whisper secrets, and strange, glowing fungi dotted the path. Their journey took them to the edge of a hidden glade, where a sparkling river flowed through the center. There, by the water's edge, they found an old, crumbling bridge leading to a small island. At the center of the island stood a grand, ancient tree with shimmering leaves, a tree from which the Lantern of the Lost Forest was said to hang. As Mia and Finn carefully crossed the bridge, they noticed a shimmering figure, an ethereal spirit of light, hovering near the tree. The spirit was gentle and serene, with eyes like pools of stardust. "Welcome, Mia," the spirit said in a voice like soft chimes. "I have been expecting you. To receive the Lantern of the Lost Forest, you must first prove your worth." The spirit then revealed 3 trials, each designed to test Mia's courage, wisdom, and kindness. The first trial was to cross a treacherous river filled with swirling, magical currents. Mia used her wits and fashioned a makeshift raft from vines and fallen branches, allowing herself and Finn to safely cross. The second trial was to solve a riddle posed by a wise old owl perched high in the tree's branches. The riddle was, "I have cities, but no houses. I have mountains, but no trees. I have water, but no fish. What am I?" Mia thought deeply and answered, "A map." the owl hooted with approval and granted them passage to the final trial. For the third trial, Mia had to demonstrate her kindness. She came across a wounded fawn struggling to walk. Without hesitation, Mia and Finn carefully tended to the fawn's injury, using herbs and gentle care to heal it. The fawn, now strong and lively, nuzzled Mia in gratitude. With the final trial complete, the Spirit of Light appeared once more and smiled warmly. You have shown courage, wisdom, and kindness. You are worthy of the Lantern of the Lost Forest. The Spirit led Mia and Finn to a hidden alcove where the lantern, glowing with a soft, golden light, was suspended from a branch. Mia carefully took the lantern, and its light seemed to grow brighter with each step they took, guiding them back to Bramblewood. Upon their return, the villagers were overjoyed to see Mia with the Grand Lantern completed and the Lantern of the Lost Forest. As night fell and the festival began, Mia and Finn placed the lantern in its special place, where it bathed the village in a warm, protective glow. The lantern's light seemed to weave through the air, creating patterns of hope and joy. The Lantern Festival was the most magnificent one Bramblewood had ever seen. The light from the Grand Lantern, enriched by the magic of the Lantern of the Lost Forest, filled every corner of the village with a sense of wonder and unity. Mia's father, though still recovering, was deeply touched by his daughter's bravery and the love shown by the villagers. And so, the legend of the Lantern of the Lost Forest was celebrated year after year, reminding the villagers of the power of courage, wisdom, and kindness. Mia's adventure became a beloved tale, passed down through generations, inspiring all who heard it to seek the light within their own hearts. And they all lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in the gentle kingdom of Thistledown, there was a mystical garden known as the Garden of Whispers. This garden was hidden deep within the enchanted Forest of Echoes and was renowned for its vibrant, ever-blooming flowers that whispered secrets and dreams to those who visit it. At the heart of the garden was the Celestial Rose, a flower said to grant a single wish to anyone who truly deserved it. In a small village on the edge of the forest lived a kind and imaginative girl named Lily. Lily was known for her compassion and her love of nature. Her best friend was a clever, adventurous owl named Orion, who had a talent for guiding and solving riddles. One crisp autumn morning, as the leaves turned gold and crimson, Lily and Orion discovered an ancient scroll hidden in an old bookshop. The scroll detailed the way to the Garden of Whispers and spoke of the celestial rose that would bloom under the light of the harvest moon. Excited by the prospect of discovering the garden, Lily and Orion decided to embark on their journey. As the harvest moon began to rise, they ventured into the Forest of Echoes, guided by the moonlight and their curiosity. As they entered the forest, they were greeted by the soft rustling of leaves and the gentle hum of hidden creatures. The path to the Garden of Whispers was illuminated by glowing lanterns that floated softly above the ground, leading them deeper into the forest. The first challenge they encountered was the Gate of Echoes, a grand archway adorned with shimmering vines. To pass through the gate, they needed to solve a riddle spoken by a mysterious voice. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I? Lily thought for a moment, and Orion's wise eyes gleamed with understanding. A fire, Lily answered confidently. The gate opened with a gentle creak, revealing the path to the next challenge. The second challenge was the Labyrinth of Light. They found themselves in a maze of tall, glowing hedges that changed color and shape as they moved. To navigate through the labyrinth, they needed to find the correct sequence of colors that led them to the center. Orion flew high above the maze to get a better view, while Lily followed his directions on the ground. By working together and observing the changing colors, they successfully made their way through the labyrinth and reached the heart of the garden. The final challenge was the trial of the heart's truth. At the center of the Garden of Whispers, they found the celestial rose, glowing softly in the moonlight. To make their wish, they needed to speak their true desire from the heart. Lily and Orion stood before the celestial rose and reflected on their journey. They realized that their greatest wish was not for themselves, but for the happiness and well-being of their village and its people. Lily spoke their wish aloud. We wish for the prosperity and joy of our village, so that everyone may find peace and happiness. As Lily's words floated through the garden, the celestial rose glowed with an even brighter light. The magic of the rose spread throughout the Garden of Whispers and beyond, filling the forest with a warm, comforting glow. When Lily and Orion returned to their village, they were greeted with awe and gratitude. The village had been transformed by the magic of the celestial rose. The fields were lush, the streams sparkled, and the people were filled with joy and contentment. The story of Lily and Orion's adventure and the magic of the Garden of Whispers became a cherished tale in Thistledown. It reminded everyone of the power of selfless wishes and the beauty of a kind heart. And so, the Garden of Whispers remained a place of wonder and enchantment, where dreams and wishes bloomed under the light of the harvest moon. The end. Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Everglow, nestled between emerald hills and shimmering streams, there was a legend about a magical lantern. The Lantern of Wishes was said to have the power to grant one heartfelt wish to anyone who found it and used it with a pure heart. The lantern was hidden deep within the enchanted forest, a mystical place where the trees whispered secrets and the creatures spoke in riddles. For many years, the lantern had been lost, and the villagers often spoke of it in hushed tones, hoping that someone would someday find it and make a wish to bring prosperity to their village. In Everglow lived a kind and adventurous young woman named Lila. Lila was known for her generosity and her willingness to help anyone in need. She had always dreamed of embarking on a grand adventure and believed that finding the Lantern of Wishes could bring joy and hope to her village. One crisp autumn morning, Lila set out on her quest. Armed with a sturdy walking stick and a small satchel of provisions, she entered the enchanted forest. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she encountered a mischievous fairy named Faye, who fluttered around her with a glimmering trail of stardust. To find the Lantern of Wishes, Faye chimed, "You must solve 3 riddles. Only then will you discover the path to the lantern." Faye's first riddle was, "I have keys but open no locks, I have space but no room, you can enter but not go outside. What am I?" Lila thought for a moment and answered, "A piano." Faye clapped her hands in delight. "Well done. Here is the clue to the next challenge." Lila followed the clue and soon found herself at the edge of a serene, moonlit pond. Floating on the water was a golden lily pad with a shimmering pearl at its center. An old turtle named Thorn, who guarded the pond, awaited her. To proceed, Thorn said, "You must solve another riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I?" Lila thought carefully and answered, "An echo." Thorn smiled and handed her the pearl. "You are wise and true. This will guide you to the final challenge." With the pearl in hand, Lila continued her journey and soon arrived at a majestic, ancient oak tree. The tree's bark was etched with glowing symbols, and a wise old owl named Orin perched on a low branch. To find the Lantern of Wishes, Orin said, "You must solve one final riddle. I am not alive, but I grow. I don't have lungs, but I need air. I don't have a mouth, but water kills me. What am I?" Lila pondered the riddle and answered, "A fire." Orin nodded approvingly and pointed to a hidden path leading deeper into the forest. "You have answered correctly. Follow this path, and you will find the Lantern of Wishes." Lila followed the path, which led her to a secluded glade bathed in moonlight. At the center of the glade stood a pedestal with the Lantern of Wishes glowing softly atop it. Lila approached the lantern and gently lifted it from its stand. The lantern's light grew brighter, illuminating the entire glade. With the lantern in her hands, Lila took a deep breath and made her wish. "I wish for the happiness and prosperity of my village, so that every heart in Everglow may be filled with joy and hope." The Lantern of Wishes glowed even brighter, and a warm, golden light spread from the lantern, traveling through the forest and reaching the village. The trees in the forest seemed to hum with harmony, and the air was filled with a sense of peace. When Lila returned to Everglow, she found that her wish had come true. The village was bustling with life and laughter. Crops flourished, rivers flowed abundantly, and the villagers' hearts were filled with joy and gratitude. The people of Everglow celebrated Lila's bravery and selflessness. They honored her with a grand feast and a beautiful garden in her name. The lantern was placed in a special place in the village, where its light continued to shine as a symbol of hope and unity. And so, the village of Everglow thrived, and Lila's adventure became a cherished tale passed down through generations. The Lantern of Wishes remained a beacon of hope. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was an enchanted forest. This forest was unlike any other, for it was filled with magical creatures and plants that shimmered with an ethereal glow. The heart of the forest was home to an ancient and wise tree named Elderwood. Elderwood was the guardian of the forest, and its wisdom and magic kept the balance of nature intact. In a cozy burrow at the edge of the enchanted forest lived a little mouse named Oliver. Oliver was not like the other mice. While his friends were content to play and forage close to their homes, Oliver had a thirst for adventure. He often heard stories of the wonders and dangers that lay deep within the forest, and he longed to see them for himself. One sunny morning, as Oliver was gathering berries, he overheard two sparrows talking excitedly about a dark cloud that had settled over Elderwood. They spoke of a terrible curse that had been cast upon the ancient tree, causing its magic to fade and the forest to wither. The once lively forest was now in grave danger. Without hesitation, Oliver decided that he had to help. He knew the journey would be perilous, but his heart was filled with courage. Armed with only a small satchel of provisions, he set off toward the heart of the enchanted forest. As Oliver ventured deeper into the forest, the air grew thick with an eerie silence. The vibrant colors of the plants had dulled, and the magical creatures he had hoped to see were nowhere to be found. After hours of walking, he came across a glade where the sunlight barely penetrated the thick canopy of dying leaves. In the center of the glade stood Elderwood. The once majestic tree now looked ancient and frail, its branches drooping and its bark cracked. Oliver approached Elderwood, feeling a mix of awe and sadness. As he stood before the tree, he heard a faint whisper. "Who dares to approach me?" the voice asked, echoing through the glade. "It is I, Oliver, a humble mouse from the edge of the forest," Oliver replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "I've come to help lift the curse that has befallen you." Elderwood sighed, its branches rustling softly. "Brave little mouse, the curse was cast by a wicked sorceress who sought to control the forest's magic. She resides in a dark tower beyond the Forest of Shadows. Only by retrieving the crystal of light from her tower can the curse be lifted." Determined, Oliver asked, "How can I find this tower and the crystal of light?" "Follow the path of the silver leaves," Elderwood instructed. "But beware, for the journey is fraught with danger." With newfound purpose, Oliver set off once more. As he followed the path of silver leaves, he encountered many challenges. He crossed a rickety bridge over a chasm, outwitted a cunning fox, and navigated a maze of thorny vines. Each obstacle tested his bravery and cleverness, but Oliver pressed on. After days of travel, Oliver finally reached the Forest of Shadows. The trees here were tall and menacing, their twisted branches reaching out like claws. In the distance, he could see the dark tower, its silhouette looming against the dim light of the setting sun. Gathering his courage, Oliver approached the tower. The entrance was guarded by stone gargoyles, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. As he drew closer, the gargoyles sprang to life, blocking his path. "You shall not pass," one of them growled. Thinking quickly, Oliver pulled out a piece of cheese from his satchel and offered it to the gargoyles. "I come in peace. Might you accept this humble gift?" The gargoyles sniffed the air and, to Oliver's surprise, stepped aside. "We appreciate your offering, little mouse. You may enter, but beware the sorceress within." With a nod of thanks, Oliver entered the tower. The interior was dark and foreboding, but he could see a faint light emanating from the top of a winding staircase. Stealthily, he climbed the stairs, careful not to make a sound. At the top of the tower, Oliver found the sorceress's chamber. The crystal of light sat on a pedestal, its radiant glow illuminating the room. The sorceress, a tall figure draped in black, was gazing into a cauldron, unaware of Oliver's presence. Summoning all his courage, Oliver darted across the room and grabbed the crystal of light. As soon as he touched it, a brilliant light filled the chamber. The sorceress let out a shriek of rage and tried to cast a spell, but it was too late. The magic of the crystal repelled her, and she vanished in a cloud of smoke. With the crystal of light in his possession, Oliver hurried back to Elderwood. As he placed the crystal at the base of the ancient tree, a wave of light spread through the forest. The leaves regained their vibrant colors, and the magical creatures returned, singing and dancing with joy. Elderwood's voice resonated with gratitude. "Thank you, brave Oliver. You have restored the balance and saved the enchanted forest." Oliver returned to his burrow, hailed as a hero by the creatures of the forest. He had proven that even the smallest of us can make a big difference. From that day on, the enchanted forest thrived, and Oliver's adventures became the stuff of legend, inspiring all who heard his tale. And so, the enchanted forest and its inhabitants lived happily ever after, under the watchful eye of Elderwood and the brave little mouse who saved them all. ###the end. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there stood a mighty oak tree. This tree was home to many animals, but its most special treasure was the little acorn that hung from one of its branches. The little acorn was small but full of dreams. It often looked down at the forest floor and wondered what it would be like to grow into a big, strong tree just like its mother. The other acorns laughed at the little acorn because it was so small and always dreaming. "You'll never be as big as the oak tree," they teased. But the little acorn didn't listen to them. It believed in itself and knew that one day, it would be something great. One windy autumn day, the little acorn felt a strong breeze shake the branches of the oak tree. The wind was so powerful that it made the little acorn tremble. Suddenly, the little acorn lost its grip on the branch and began to fall. Down, down, down it tumbled, until it landed softly on the forest floor. The little acorn looked around and saw the tall grass, colorful mushrooms, and even a family of squirrels who lived nearby. Everything seemed so big, and the little acorn felt so small. But instead of being scared, the little acorn whispered to itself, "This is where my journey begins." The days grew shorter, and the air became colder as winter approached. The little acorn was soon covered by fallen leaves, which kept it warm and safe. Beneath the ground, something magical started to happen. The little acorn began to grow roots, and those roots slowly spread out, searching for water and nutrients in the soil. As winter turned to spring, the forest came alive with the sounds of birds chirping and animals waking up from their winter slumber. The little acorn had changed too. From the top of the acorn, a tiny green shoot emerged, reaching for the sunlight. Day by day, the shoot grew taller, until it became a small sapling with leaves of its own. The other plants and trees in the forest were amazed. "Look at that little sapling," they said. "It used to be just a tiny acorn, but now it's growing strong." The little sapling was happy but knew that its journey was far from over. Every day, it stretched its branches higher and dug its roots deeper, drinking in the sunshine and the rain. The sapling faced many challenges: strong winds, heavy rains, and even a hungry rabbit that nibbled at its leaves, but it never gave up. As the years passed, the sapling grew into a young oak tree. It wasn't as tall or as wide as the other trees yet, but it was sturdy and full of life. The animals in the forest came to know the young oak tree and admired its strength and determination. One summer, a terrible storm swept through the forest. The wind howled, and the rain poured down in sheets. The older trees, tall and strong, were shaken to their roots. Some even lost branches, and a few were uprooted entirely. But the young oak tree stood firm, its deep roots holding it steady in the storm. When the storm finally passed, the forest was quiet. The animals peeked out from their shelters and saw the damage the storm had done. But there, standing tall and proud, was the young oak tree. It had survived the storm without losing a single branch. The forest animals gathered around the young oak tree and cheered. "You were just a little acorn, but now you're a mighty oak. You've shown us all that size doesn't matter, it's the strength inside that counts." The young oak tree was filled with pride and joy. It had grown from a tiny acorn into a strong tree, just like it had always dreamed. and though it still had many years of growing ahead, it knew that it would continue to thrive, no matter what challenges came its way. From that day on, the young oak tree stood as a symbol of hope and courage in the forest. Whenever a new acorn fell to the ground, the animals would tell the story of the brave little acorn that never gave up. And as they listened, the new acorns would dream of the day they, too, would grow into strong, mighty oaks. And so, the little acorn story spread through the forest, inspiring every creature, big and small, to believe in themselves and to never give up on their dreams. And that, dear reader, is the tale of the brave little acorn, who grew into a mighty oak tree. The end. Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there was a magical forest where no one dared to enter. The trees were so tall that their tops touched the clouds, and the animals there could speak in human tongues. The heart of this forest was said to hold a great secret, one that only the bravest and kindest could discover. In a grand castle not far from the forest, there lived a young princess named Elara. She was known throughout the kingdom for her kindness and curiosity. She loved exploring the castle gardens and reading stories of faraway lands. But there was one place she had never been allowed to go, the magical forest. One day, Princess Elara overheard her parents, the king and queen, speaking in hushed tones. They were worried about something important. The princess listened closely and heard them mention the forest and a mysterious curse. They spoke of a lost princess, a girl who had disappeared many years ago, leaving the kingdom heartbroken. The only clue to her whereabouts was said to be hidden deep within the magical forest. Elara's heart raced with curiosity and concern. She felt a strong pull toward the forest, as if it were calling her. That night, she made a decision. She would enter the forest and find out the truth about the lost princess. The next morning, before the sun had fully risen, Elara sneaked out of the castle. She wore a simple cloak and carried a small bag with food and water. As she approached the edge of the forest, she felt both excited and nervous. The trees loomed over her, their leaves whispering secrets in the wind. Taking a deep breath, Elara stepped into the forest. The air was cool and fresh, and the sounds of birds singing filled her ears. As she walked, she noticed that the animals were not afraid of her. A squirrel chattered a friendly greeting, and a deer bowed its head as she passed. Elara smiled, feeling a little more at ease. After a while, she came upon a large, ancient oak tree. It was the biggest tree she had ever seen, with roots that spread out like giant fingers and branches that seemed to touch the sky. As Elara approached the tree, she felt a warm breeze, and then, to her amazement, the tree began to speak. "Welcome, Princess Elara," the tree said in a deep, gentle voice. "I have been waiting for you." Elara gasped in surprise. "You know who I am?" she asked. The tree's branches swayed as if nodding. "Yes, I know many things. I am the guardian of this forest, and I know why you have come." Elara's eyes widened. "You do? Can you tell me about the lost princess? My parents mentioned her, and I feel like I need to help." The tree sighed, and its leaves rustled softly. "The lost princess you seek is closer than you think. Many years ago, a terrible curse was placed upon this kingdom. The curse took a young princess from her family and trapped her in this forest. She has been waiting for someone with a pure heart to find her and break the curse." Elara felt a surge of determination. "How can I help? What must I do to break the curse?" The tree's bark shimmered with a faint golden light. "To break the curse, you must find the princess's heart. It is hidden in a place where only the brave and the kind can reach. But beware, the forest will test you. You must face 3 challenges, each one more difficult than the last. Only then will you find the princess's heart and free the lost princess." Elara nodded, her resolve strengthening. "I'm ready. Tell me what I must do." The tree's voice grew serious. "Your first challenge is to find the stream of reflection. Follow the path to your right until you reach the stream. There, you must look into the water and see your true self. Only when you understand what you see can you move forward." Elara thanked the tree and set off in the direction it had told her. The path was narrow and winding, and she had to duck under low branches and step carefully over roots. After what felt like hours, she heard the sound of flowing water and soon found herself standing before a clear, sparkling stream. She knelt down and looked into the water. At first, she saw only her reflection, the face of a young girl with bright eyes and a determined expression. But as she continued to gaze into the stream, the water began to ripple, and her reflection changed. She saw herself not as a princess, but as a girl who was kind, brave, and full of love for her family in her kingdom. She saw all the good she had done, and all the good she could do in the future. But she also saw her fears, her fear of not being enough, her fear of failure. Tears filled Alara's eyes as she realized that being a princess wasn't about titles or riches. It was about the strength of her heart and the choices she made. With this newfound understanding, the water in the stream began to glow with a soft light. The stream whispered, "You have seen your true self. You may move forward." Alara smiled and wiped away her tears. She stood up and continued on her journey. The second challenge soon awaited her. As she walked, she came upon a large, twisted briar patch. The thorns were sharp and thick, and there was no way around it. She would have to find a way through. Remembering the tree's words, Alara knew this challenge was not just about physical strength. She had to use her mind and her heart. She thought of the many people in her kingdom who faced obstacles every day, people who needed help, guidance, and sometimes just a little kindness. She realized that the thorns represented these challenges, and to overcome them, she needed to face them head-on, with courage and care. Taking a deep breath, she carefully began to part the thorns, speaking softly to them as if they were living things. "Please let me pass," she whispered. "I mean no harm." To her surprise, the thorns began to soften and move aside, creating a narrow path for her to walk through. Alara moved slowly, her heart full of hope. When she finally reached the other side, she saw that the briar patch had vanished, replaced by a field of beautiful flowers. "You have shown kindness and courage," a voice said on the breeze. "You may continue." Alara knew she was close to finding the princess's heart. She continued on, her steps lighter and her spirit stronger. Soon, she reached a clearing where a large, glowing crystal stood in the center. It pulsed with a gentle light, and Alara knew this was the princess's heart. But before she could reach it, a dark shadow appeared. It took the form of a towering figure with glowing red eyes, blocking her path. "You will not take the heart," the shadow growled. "It belongs to the curse, and no one shall break it." Alara's heart pounded in her chest, but she stood her ground. "I will not let fear stop me. The lost princess deserves to be free, and I will do everything I can to save her." The shadow laughed, but Alara did not falter. She closed her eyes and remembered all the good she had seen in herself, all the kindness and bravery she had shown. She thought of the love she had for her family in her kingdom, and with that love, she stepped forward. As she did, the light from the crystal grew brighter, and the shadow began to shrink. Alara kept walking, her heart filled with determination and love. The shadow roared, but it was no match for the light. It dissolved into nothingness, and the crystal floated into Alara's hands. "You have passed the final test," a voice whispered, gentle and warm. "You have found the princess's heart." The crystal in Alara's hands began to glow brighter and brighter until it transformed into a young girl, a girl who looked just like Alara, but with hair as silver as the moon. It was the lost princess, freed at last. "Thank you," the princess said, her voice filled with gratitude. "You have saved me and lifted the curse. The kingdom is free once more." The two princesses embraced, and together they returned to the castle. The king and queen were overjoyed to see their daughter safe and to learn that the curse had been broken. The lost princess, who had been trapped for so long, was welcomed back with open arms. From that day on, the kingdom flourished, and the magical forest became a place of wonder and peace. Princess Alara was celebrated not just for her bravery, but for the strength of her heart. And so, the two princesses lived happily ever after, side by side, as sisters and as the future queens of a kingdom filled with love, kindness, and light. The end. Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, there was a legend passed down through generations. It was said that somewhere deep within the woods lay a hidden garden, a place of unimaginable beauty where every flower bloomed in colors no one had ever seen before, and where the trees whispered secrets of the earth. The legend also told of a guardian who protected the garden, a mysterious creature known only as the Evergreen, who was said to grant a single wish to anyone worthy enough to find the garden. In this village lived a young boy named Leo. Leo was kind and curious, with a heart full of dreams and a mind full of questions. He often spent his days wandering the woods near his home, exploring the trails and streams, and imagining what the hidden garden might look like. The villagers often warned him not to go too far into the forest, as many had tried to find the garden and never returned. But Leo's curiosity was too strong, and he believed that he could find the garden if he only tried hard enough. One crisp autumn morning, Leo decided it was time to seek out the hidden garden. He packed a small satchel with some bread, cheese, and a flask of water, and set off into the woods. The forest was alive with the colors of fall, the leaves crunching under his feet as he walked. He followed the winding paths deeper into the forest than he had ever gone before, determined to find the legendary garden. As the day wore on, Leo found himself in parts of the forest that felt different, older, more mysterious. The trees here were taller, their branches weaving together to form a thick canopy that let in only slivers of sunlight. The air was cooler, and the forest was quieter, as if holding its breath. Leo's heart pounded with excitement and a little fear, but he pressed on, knowing he was getting closer. After hours of walking, Leo came across a small, bubbling brook. He stopped to rest and drink from the cool, clear water. As he sat by the brook, he noticed something strange, a path of soft moss that seemed to glow faintly in the dappled light. The path led away from the brook and into a dense thicket of trees. Leo's heart raced as he realized this might be the way to the hidden garden. With renewed determination, Leo followed the mossy path. The trees grew thicker, and the light dimmer, but Leo didn't turn back. He could feel that he was close, and the thought of finding the garden kept him going. The path wound through the forest, twisting and turning, until finally, it opened into a clearing. Leo gasped in amazement. Before him lay the hidden garden, just as the legends had described. It was a place of breathtaking beauty, with flowers of every color imaginable blooming in perfect harmony. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blossoms, and the sound of birds singing softly. In the center of the garden stood a massive tree with leaves of silver and gold, its branches reaching high into the sky. Leo knew at once that this was the heart of the garden. But as he stepped into the clearing, a figure emerged from behind the tree. It was the Evergreen, the guardian of the hidden garden. The creature was unlike anything Leo had ever seen, tall and slender, with skin the color of emerald leaves and eyes that glowed like the morning sun. The Evergreen's hair was a cascade of vines and flowers, and its voice was as soft as the wind through the trees. "Welcome, young one," the Evergreen said, its voice echoing in the stillness of the garden. "You have found the hidden garden, a place of beauty and magic. But to truly enter, you must prove yourself worthy. Are you ready?" Leo nodded, his heart pounding in his chest. "Yes, I am ready," he said, though he wasn't entirely sure what proving himself would mean. The Evergreen smiled gently. "Very well. I will give you 3 tasks. If you complete them, you may make a wish, and it will be granted. But if you fail, you must leave the garden and never return. Do you accept?" Leo hesitated for only a moment before nodding again. "I accept," he said, determined to see his quest through. The first task, the Song of the Nightingale. The Evergreen's first task was for Leo to find the nightingale of the forest and bring back its song. The nightingale was a bird of great wisdom and beauty, but it was also elusive, only singing for those with a pure heart. Leo ventured back into the forest, listening carefully for the nightingale's song. He walked for hours, through thick underbrush and across streams, but heard nothing. As the sun began to set, Leo started to worry that he wouldn't find the bird in time. Just as he was about to give up, he heard a faint, melodious song drifting through the trees. It was the most beautiful sound he had ever heard, filled with joy and sorrow all at once. He followed the sound until he found the nightingale perched on a low branch, its feathers shimmering in the fading light. The nightingale stopped singing as Leo approached, watching him with wise, knowing eyes. Leo bowed his head respectfully. "Please, nightingale, I need your song to complete my task," Leo said softly. "I seek the hidden garden and the wish it offers." The nightingale tilted its head, as if considering his request. Then, to Leo's surprise, it began to sing again. The song was even more beautiful up close, filling Leo's heart with warmth and hope. As the bird sang, Leo felt a sense of peace and understanding wash over him. He realized that the song was not something he could take back with him, it was something he had to carry in his heart. When the nightingale finished its song, Leo thanked the bird and returned to the hidden garden. The evergreen was waiting for him, its eyes shining with approval. "You have done well, young one," the evergreen said. "You have learned that the greatest treasures are those we carry within us. The song is yours, and it will guide you on your journey." The second task, the gift of the willow tree. The evergreen's second task was for Leo to find the ancient willow tree at the edge of the forest and ask it for a gift. The willow tree was known to be wise and generous, but it only gave gifts to those who were truly deserving. Leo made his way to the edge of the forest, where the willow tree stood by a quiet pond. The tree was old and majestic, its long branches draped gracefully over the water. As Leo approached, the tree's branches rustled gently, as if acknowledging his presence. "Great willow tree," Leo said, bowing respectfully. "I have come to ask for a gift to complete my task. Will you grant me one?" The willow tree's branches swayed in the breeze, and Leo heard a soft, whispering voice in his mind. "What is it you seek, young one?" the willow tree asked. "I seek the hidden garden and the wish it offers," Leo replied. "But I do not know what gift I should ask for." The willow tree was silent for a moment, and then it spoke again. "Gifts are not always material, young one," the tree said. "The greatest gifts are those that come from the heart. I will give you a gift, but first, you must give something in return. What will you offer?" Leo thought for a moment. He had little to give, no riches or treasures. But he remembered the kindness he had always tried to show others, and the love he had for the world around him. "I offer you my heart," Leo said. "My kindness, my love for the world, and my hope for a better future." The willow tree's branches swayed once more, and then a single, delicate leaf floated down from the tree and into Leo's hand. "This leaf is my gift to you," the willow tree said. "It holds the essence of the forest, the wisdom of the trees, and the love of all living things. Guard it well, for it will protect you on your journey." Leo thanked the willow tree and returned to the hidden garden. The evergreen was waiting for him, its eyes filled with warmth. "You have done well, young one," the evergreen said. "You have learned that the greatest gifts come from the heart. The leaf is yours, and it will guide you on your journey." The third task, the test of the heart. The evergreen's final task was the most difficult. Leo had to face the test of the heart, a challenge that would reveal his true nature. The evergreen led Leo to a small, secluded part of the garden, where a mirror made of crystal clear water lay on the ground. "In this mirror, you will see your true self," the evergreen said. "But be warned, young one, for the truth is not always easy to face. If you are worthy, you will find the strength to overcome your fears and doubts. If not, you will be consumed by them." Leo took a deep breath and knelt by the mirror. As he gazed into the water, his reflection began to change. He saw himself as he truly was, both the good and the bad. He saw his kindness and bravery, but also his fears, doubts, and moments of selfishness. For a moment, Leo felt overwhelmed by the flaws he saw in himself. But then he remembered the nightingale's song, the gift of the willow tree, and the lessons he had learned on his journey. He realized that no one was perfect, and that true strength came from accepting one's flaws and striving to be better. Leo closed his eyes and took a deep breath. When he opened them again, his reflection had returned to normal. The mirror rippled, and then the water turned clear once more. The evergreen smiled, its eyes filled with pride. "You have done well, young one," the evergreen said. "You have faced the truth of your heart and found the strength to overcome it. You are worthy of the hidden garden's wish." The wish. Leo stood before the evergreen, his heart filled with gratitude and wonder. The garden around him seemed to glow with a soft, golden light, and the air was filled with the scent of flowers and the sound of the nightingale's song. "You may make your wish," the evergreen said. "But remember, young one, that the greatest power lies not in what we wish for, but in how we choose to live our lives." Leo thought for a moment, and then he smiled. "I wish for the hidden garden to always be protected, so that it may bring hope and beauty to those who seek it," he said. "And I wish that the wisdom I have gained here will stay with me, so that I may share it with others." The evergreen's smile widened, and the garden seemed to shimmer with approval. "Your wish is granted, young one," the evergreen said. "The hidden garden will remain a place of beauty and magic, and the wisdom you have gained will guide you on your journey. Go now, and share your light with the world." With a heart full of joy, Leo thanked the evergreen and left the hidden garden. He returned to his village, where he shared the wisdom and kindness he had learned on his journey. The village prospered, and Leo became known as the guardian of the forest, a boy who had found the hidden garden and brought its light to the world. And every now and then, when the sun set and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Leo would return to the forest and visit the hidden garden, knowing that it would always be there, a place of beauty and hope for all who sought it. The end. Once upon a time, in a quaint village nestled between rolling hills and the sparkling river, there was a magical garden known as the Moonlit Garden. This garden was said to be enchanted, blooming only under the light of the full moon. Its flowers were renowned for their vibrant colors and sweet fragrances, which brought peace and joy to anyone who visited. The caretaker of this magical place was a young woman named Alara. She had grown up in the village and had always been fascinated by the stories of the Moonlit Garden's wonders. Her grandmother had passed down the knowledge of the garden's secrets, and now Alara tended to it with love and dedication. One evening, as the full moon rose high in the sky, Alara noticed something unusual. Amidst the familiar glow of the garden's flowers, a single, unusual flower had appeared. It was a deep shade of blue, shimmering with an otherworldly light. Alara had never seen anything like it before. As she approached the mysterious flower, a soft voice echoed through the garden. "Thank you for finding me," it said. Alara looked around but saw no one. "Who's there?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. The voice continued, "I am Lysander, a guardian of the Moonlit Garden. I have been waiting for someone with a pure heart to help me break a spell that has bound me to this garden." Alara was astonished. "A spell? How can I help?" Lysander explained that long ago, he had been transformed into a flower by a wicked sorcerer who sought to control the garden's magic. The only way to break the spell was to gather 3 magical ingredients from the far corners of the land. 1. The golden feather from the peak of the Whispering Mountains. 2. The tear of a star from the depths of the celestial lake. 3. The heart of the evergreen tree from the heart of the ancient forest. Determined to help Lysander, Alara set off on her quest. She traveled first to the Whispering Mountains, where the winds carried whispers of ancient secrets. After a challenging climb, she found a golden feather nestled in a nest high atop the peak. The feather shimmered with a warm, golden light. Next, Alara journeyed to the Celestial Lake, a serene and magical place where the water sparkled like diamonds. She waited patiently as the stars reflected on the water's surface. Eventually, a single tear fell from the sky and landed in the lake, turning into a luminous, glowing tear. Her final destination was the ancient forest, where the evergreen tree stood tall and proud. Alara approached the tree with reverence and discovered a hidden chamber within its trunk. Inside was a radiant heart, pulsing with a gentle, green light. With the 3 magical ingredients in hand, Alara returned to the Moonlit Garden. Under the light of the full moon, she placed the golden feather, the tear of the star, and the heart of the evergreen tree around Lysander's flower. As she did so, the garden was filled with a brilliant light, and Lysander's form began to shimmer and transform. In a flash of light, Lysander appeared before her, no longer a flower but a tall, graceful figure with an aura of gentle light. He thanked Elara for her bravery and kindness. "You have broken the spell and restored the garden's magic," he said. Elara smiled, relieved and happy. "I'm glad I could help. The moonlit garden is truly a special place." Lysander nodded. "And now, you are its new guardian. The garden's magic will be safe with you." From that night on, Elara continued to care for the moonlit garden, ensuring its magic flourished under the light of the full moon. The garden remained a place of wonder and tranquility, cherished by all who visited. And so, the moonlit garden thrived, its blooms glowing brightly with the magic of friendship, bravery, and the gentle light of the moon. The end. Once upon a time, in a land where the skies were always blue and the meadows were filled with wildflowers, there lay the kingdom of Luminera. It was a realm of peace and prosperity, where magic was woven into the fabric of everyday life. At the heart of this kingdom was a village named Sunvale, known for its golden fields and the warmth of its people. In Sunvale lived a young girl named Lila. Lila was known throughout the village for her kindness and her curiosity about the world beyond the village borders. She lived with her father, a humble blacksmith, and her mother, a weaver of enchanting tapestries. Lila's favorite companion was her pet raven, Corvus, who was as curious as she was and often helped her discover hidden quarters of the village and the surrounding forest. One sunny morning, as Lila and Corvus explored the edge of the forest, they came across an old, weathered map half buried in the soil. The map depicted a path leading deep into the enchanted forest, a place whispered about in bedtime stories but rarely visited. At the center of the map was an illustration of a magnificent, glowing crystal known as the Heart of Luminera. Legend said that the Heart of Luminera was a source of immense magic and could grant a single wish to the one who found it. Excited by the discovery, Lila showed the map to her parents. Her mother, with a worried look, warned her of the dangers that lay within the enchanted forest. But her father, seeing the determination in Lila's eyes, gave her a small, sturdy dagger and a pouch of provisions. "You must be brave and wise, Lila," he said. "Remember, true courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." With Corvus perched on her shoulder, Lila set off on her adventure. The map led her through winding paths and over sparkling streams. As she ventured deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and their leaves whispered secrets of old. Soon, she arrived at the first challenge, a vast, shimmering lake with no visible way to cross it. Suddenly, a graceful swan emerged from the reeds. "To cross the lake, you must answer my riddle," the swan said. "What has keys but can't open locks, has space but no room, and can enter but not go outside?" Lila thought for a moment, then smiled. "A keyboard," she replied confidently. The swan nodded, and a bridge of light appeared across the lake. Lila and Corvus crossed safely and continued their journey. They soon reached a dense part of the forest where the sunlight barely reached the ground. In the midst of the darkness, they encountered a wise old owl sitting on a low branch. "To proceed, you must show your wisdom," the owl hooted. "Tell me, what is always in front of you but can't be seen?" Lila pondered the question, then said, "The future." The owl flapped its wings in approval, and a narrow path led up, guiding them through the dark woods. As they followed the path, they reached a meadow filled with colorful flowers. In the center of the meadow was a beautiful, but sorrowful, unicorn with a broken horn. The unicorn spoke, its voice soft and melodic. "To find the Heart of Luminera, you must demonstrate compassion. My horn is broken, and I cannot heal without it." Moved by the unicorn's plight, Lila took out her father's dagger and carefully crafted a splint for the broken horn using sturdy branches and her mother's woven fabric. The unicorn's horn began to glow and then magically mended itself. "You have shown great compassion," the unicorn said, now radiant with health. "Climb onto my back, and I will take you to the Heart of Luminera." Lila and Corvus climbed onto the unicorn, and in a flash of light, they were transported to a hidden glade where the Heart of Luminera rested on a pedestal of crystal. The heart was even more magnificent than the stories had described, glowing with an ethereal light that filled the glade with warmth and magic. As Lila approached the heart, a dark figure emerged from the shadows. It was the sorcerer Malachi, who had been searching for the heart of Luminara for his own nefarious purposes. "That heart belongs to me," he snarled. Lila stood her ground, her hand gripping the dagger's hilt. "The heart of Luminara belongs to all who seek it with a pure heart," she declared. Malachi laughed, but before he could cast a spell, Corvus swooped down and pecked at his eyes, causing him to stumble backward. Lila seized the moment and touched the heart, making her wish, "I wish for the power to protect my kingdom from all harm." The heart of Luminara glowed even brighter, and a wave of magic spread throughout the forest, banishing Malachi and healing the land. The heart then transformed into a beautiful necklace, which Lila placed around her neck. With the heart's magic now protecting Luminara, Lila returned to Sunvale, greeted by cheers and celebrations. Her bravery and compassion had saved the kingdom, and she was hailed as a hero. From that day on, Lila continued to explore and protect her kingdom, always guided by the lessons she had learned. The story of her journey and the heart of Luminara became a legend, inspiring generations to come. And so, the kingdom of Luminara lived happily ever after, flourishing under the watchful eye of their brave young hero. Once upon a time, in a kingdom where the skies were painted with stars and the moonlight danced across silver lakes, there was a hidden valley known as Etheria. This valley was blessed with a wondrous feature, a bridge made entirely of stardust. Each night, the bridge shimmered with 1,000 colors, connecting the realm of the ordinary with the land of dreams. In a quaint village at the edge of Etheria, lived a curious young girl named Leora. Leora loved gazing at the stars and often wondered what lay beyond the starry bridge. The villagers spoke of magical beings and enchanted lands, but no one had ever ventured across the bridge and returned to tell the tale. One evening, as the sky turned a deep indigo and the first stars began to twinkle, Leora decided it was time to uncover the secrets of the bridge. She packed a small bag with essentials, a lantern, a notebook, and a piece of honey cake her grandmother had baked. With a heart full of excitement and a touch of trepidation, she set off towards the glittering bridge. As Leora stepped onto the bridge, she felt a tingling sensation beneath her feet. The stardust was warm and soft, like stepping onto a cloud. The bridge sparkled with every step she took, and she marveled at how it seemed to pulse with the rhythm of the night. The journey across the bridge was enchanting. The stardust beneath her shimmered in hues of violet and gold, and the air was filled with the soft melodies of celestial music. As Leora approached the end of the bridge, she noticed a magnificent castle floating in the air, surrounded by clouds that sparkled like diamonds. This was the realm of dreams, a place where imagination and reality danced together. Upon reaching the castle, Leora was greeted by a graceful fairy named Lyra. Lyra had wings that glowed like moonlight and a crown of twinkling stars. "Welcome to the dream realm," Lyra said with a warm smile. "I am Lyra, and I've been expecting you." Leora was taken aback. "You were expecting me?" Lyra nodded. "Yes, the stars have whispered of your arrival. We need your help, Leora. Our dream realm is in trouble. The Dream Stone, which powers our world and keeps dreams alive, has been stolen by the Shadow of Woe." Leora's eyes widened. "The Shadow of Woe? What can I do to help?" Lyra's expression was serious but hopeful. "The Shadow of Woe resides in the gloomy cavern, deep within the forest of forgotten dreams. To retrieve the Dream Stone, you must face 3 challenges that test your courage, wisdom, and kindness." Without hesitation, Leora agreed to help. Lyra gave her a magical compass that would guide her through the forest and offered a piece of moonlight to light her path. With a determined heart, Leora set off on her quest. The forest of forgotten dreams was a maze of twisted trees and misty pathways. The first challenge awaited her, a giant, sleeping dragon guarding a shimmering key. Leora had to solve a riddle to awaken the dragon without frightening it. The riddle was, what can you hold in your left hand but not in your right? Leora thought for a moment and answered, your right hand. The dragon, pleased with her answer, gave her the key and wished her well. The second challenge was a puzzle made of floating, glowing stones that formed a bridge over a chasm. Leora had to arrange the stones in the correct pattern to cross safely. With patience and careful observation, she figured out the pattern and made it across. The final challenge was the most daunting, a test of kindness. The shadow of woe had transformed the forest creatures into gloomy, despairing beings. Leora had to lift their spirits by sharing stories of hope and joy. As she spoke of her village and the wonders of the starry bridge, the creatures began to smile and regain their light. Even the shadow of woe felt a change in its heart. When Leora reached the gloomy cavern, she found the dream stone hidden in a dark, cold corner. As she reached for it, the shadow of woe appeared, its form flickering with sadness and anger. Leora took a deep breath and spoke kindly to the shadow. "I know you're not truly wicked. You've been lonely and forgotten. Let us help you find joy again." The shadow of woe's dark form began to soften. With Leora's encouragement, the shadow transformed back into a gentle spirit. It revealed that it had stolen the dream stone out of desperation, hoping to be remembered. Leora offered her friendship and promised that it would always have a place in the dream realm. With the dream stone in hand, Leora returned to the castle. The dream stone was restored to its rightful place, and the dream realm once again shimmered with vibrant colors and joyful dreams. Lyra and the other inhabitants of the realm celebrated Leora's bravery and kindness. As a token of their gratitude, Lyra granted Leora a special gift, a small vial of stardust that would allow her to visit the dream realm whenever she wished. Leora thanked Lyra and the inhabitants of the dream realm before making her way back across the starry bridge. When she returned to her village, Leora shared her adventure with the villagers, inspiring them with stories of the dream realm and the magic of the starry bridge. And each night, as she gazed up at the stars, she knew that the bridge was not just a path between worlds but a symbol of the magic that lies in the courage and kindness of a single